Hello, my Chunsters! This is Host Pro 2.0, episode 15, with Marcus! He's back!
I'm back. You have to thank Glenn for this one, as do I, because he's just given me a laptop which is so much more powerful than my old desktop. And yeah, my desktop is basically fried. It's actually nothing more than a doorstop at the minute. But I think Harry's going to take it and use it for Melina. So some good will come out of it. But yes, I now have a laptop which does run and can actually connect to the internet and hopefully won't burn out and crash like my old desktop did.
Yeah, I doubt it will. It's got quite good cooling. That reminds me, I did have a cooling fan for it at one point, but I think my brother is borrowing it.
Oh, that darn brother of yours. Congratulations to him as well.
Yes, on his pass out. I'm gonna try and talk him into being on the show before he has to fuck off to Germany. So you might see him now. Thing is, for Host Pro 2.0 episode 15, see, last week was a bit of a short episode because I darted off to pick him up from the train station, so I only had a 24-minute episode. So this time we've packed it full of fucking shitloads of topics. We've got three Would You Rathers. We've got the Tory party being hated by practically everyone. We've got Formula One. We've got Windows 10. We've got Nissan GT-Rs. We've got wrestling. We've got 3 different wrestling topics, all of them quite small because we're waiting for the big one, which is Payback next week. And we've also got Phantom Pain. We've got a better idea of when it's going to release. And Project Cars, my sort of first impressions of the game and my my first impressions of the game and how that's going on. But before we even do any of that, as per usual with us two, sort of things get in the way. Our brains start thinking, okay, what else would be quite funny? And we've managed to, and I've just informed Marcus before we went on there of a song which has now beaten Uptown Funk in the American chart ratings. It's called Track Queen by Fetty Wap, and Marcus is about to listen to it. So if you wanna listen along, and if you don't actually know about the song, we're about to listen to Track Queen by Fetty Wap, and I suppose I should actually get the whole. I should probably get the thing up myself. I've only got it.
I have it here ready to go. This is the first I've heard about any of this, so this is going to be interesting.
I've only heard it on Super Musica's channel, which is when they do like the top 10 songs of the week according to the Billboard charts. So that's where I've heard about this. But this song has just beat Uptown Funk to number 2 in the charts. So, Marcus, let's do it. Let's just do it. I can guarantee you're going to be a bit surprised that this beat Uptown Funk.
Okay, right. Well, first of all, I'm amazed by the name Fetty Wap. That's. Does that not sound like some kind of sex act or something, or like sexual position? Fetty Wap. Maybe that's the whole point. I don't know. But yeah, apparently this has beaten Uptown Funk, and I'm going to find out what this is. Right, it's got 21 million views.
Wow. Oh, the video I'm looking at, it's got 67 million.
Oh, geez, I'm behind then. Crikey. But
yeah, you're in the past.
Okay. Well, that's fine. But then again, this is going to be a brand. This is going to be an interesting reaction because I haven't heard this. So I'm going to turn the volume up fairly loud. Okay, and I'm going to start the track now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I've got the start of it up, and I'm not that impressed yet.
My stove.
Yeah. Did he just say Chevrolet?
I don't know. How she worked that damn pole. That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm a little bit behind you, actually. If I just catch you up a bit.
Right, so this beat Uptown Funk, yeah?
This beat Uptown Funk, yeah. This is now number 2 in America. Uptown Funk's number 3.
He's saying he's in the kitchen cooking pies.
Yeah, I know.
Is that actually a lyric?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I think I'm going to stop there. So my summary of that song is about a, how can I be politically correct, a ghetto gentleman and his hoe cooking pies, smoking weed, going to the mall and hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically it. That's
okay. So basically, what the vast majority of the human race do, maybe minus the cooking pies or getting high part, take your pick. But so that can we move on to another topic? I actually don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I think this is one I'm going to watch.
Generic rap you can get, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It wasn't even really rapping, though.
I know, it's kind of not, isn't it?
When you think of rap, I think of Tupac Shakur, Biggie Smalls, and then NWA, Eminem, stuff like that.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't really see that as being rap. I mean, unless that's a very PG rap, talking about pies and then getting baked. I don't. I think I'm going to watch that back on my own time and then give you a better analysis maybe next week, because I don't really know what to make of that yet.
Yeah, I must admit, I was when I saw that Uptown Funk was only number 3 when I was watching the video about the charts, I was like, what the hell's number 2? And then came up, and I was like, oh.
Unless this is some big giant social experiment and they're only liking this and buying it in an ironic way.
To find out if they could actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, then yeah, I could understand why it would, because in the regular case of beating it for being a good song, it just goes nowhere near at all.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be near the charts. It shouldn't be near my ears. It shouldn't be near anybody's ears. Don't listen to that song. Please stop listening to it.
I mean, it's certainly not Demigods by Lab Rats featuring Slim Jim.
It's not Barbie Girl by Aqua. At least Barbie Girl has a...
True. That's very true.
I would rather listen to the Spandau Ballet album on repeat for the rest of my life than listen to that song ever again.
That's interesting, because that's getting dangerously close to Would You Rather territory.
Oh dear. Okay. I was just going to say it'd be quite funny, because all I'd be singing every time I see you guys and everything when I come down to work or whatever, I'd just walk in and go, "Hey, it's gold," because that's the only one that anyone ever remembers.
No, is it? No, Always Believe It Is So, isn't it? That one.
Always believe it. You are gold. That's the one. Nobody else remembers any of the others.
No, it's true. They don't.
Okay. Anyway, so now we've got that piece of shit out of the way.
Now that we've got that sort of random weirdy topic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Because I've got 3 different wrestling topics, I can kind of break them up and disperse them around the rest of the episode.
Yeah, you can start with one and then move on to another midway through or whatever.
Yeah, so should we just get the best one out of the way? Sami Zayn is injured. And now a lot of people might be thinking, well, how do wrestlers get injured? Well, most of the time they screw up a bump, right? They flat pack a bump and get a concussion. CM Punk, I'm looking at you. They get kicked in the ribs really hard by a guy called Ryback. CM Punk, we're thinking about you, the old fruit. They elbow drop their opponents while they're on the table and break their ribs. Seth Rollins, we're thinking of you. But you get the idea. Generally, it's because something in the ring goes wrong or gets real. Shit gets real, basically. That's how most wrestlers end up getting injured. Sami Zayn. Now, this was impressive, because this also ties in with the fact that he made his Raw debut. because it's Montreal, Canada. John Cena has just said if you want some, come and get some, because it's his US Open Challenge. And Slate has just been taken out by Brett. So Brett introduces Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn makes his debut against John Cena. Now, as you can imagine, Sami Zayn is a Canadian, and he's debuting in front of his hometown crowd, Montreal, Canada. He's quite excited. He's amped up. So what does Sami Zayn do? Makes a lot of very, very high energy, high risk hand movements. And one of them pops his shoulder. It was something like that, really enthusiastically, and he popped his shoulder and injured his shoulder. He injured his shoulder, waving his arms around.
However, he does have an issue with that shoulder, though, in the past. He has had shoulder injuries there before. But, yeah, at the same time, it's pretty spectacular to say, oh, I'm on injury leave from work. Oh, I hurt my shoulder. How did you do that? Because I was basically fist pumping the crowd.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. Although, in fair play to him, he did do the match.
That's the thing. He actually put on a hell of a good match.
He did. He got all his spots and everything were in, but you could just tell straight away that something wasn't right.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as you put it when we were discussing it on Facebook, it wasn't the usual springy Sami Zayn.
Yeah, it's kind of, he was all energy when he came out, and then that happened, and then it was just kind of like, he kind of tentatively got in the ring a little bit, and you could see him favouring that shoulder, especially when he landed on the DDT through the corner post ring, which is a fucking incredible move.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, he landed, and you can see him straight away, like, grab his arm, and you can just tell that his arm is basically fucked.
Yeah, exactly. You could basically tell, and it was pretty obvious at that point things weren't quite right. But I will say, though, even so, it was a very good match. Very, very good match.
The match was fucking awesome, yeah. It was really good. It was, especially considering the injury as well, and considering they went for, was it 15 minutes or so? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a big match, yeah.
Maybe 10, 12. Well, even so, 10 minutes on a shoulder that's basically sort of half dislocated and sort of hanging out of your joint, to do 15 minutes against John Cena is pretty impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm trying to find... there we go. I'm trying to find the stream so I can add the stream to my comments.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm adding the Google Plus stream to my comment tracker so that I've got all the comments being tracked in real time. The
scenario, though, like I said to you, imagine if Owens had come out.
Yes. Oh, I wanted that to happen.
That would have been pretty huge. Like I said, the storyline I would have set up would have been have Sami come out, injury or no injury, whatever, and make it look like to a point, you know, with a haluva kick, Sami's going to win. Owens comes through the crowd, you know, blast from behind, disqualification, throws Sami out of the ring. Then he can say he was injured, you know, and say, oh, he was injured by Kevin Owens, not through fist pumping the crowd too hard. And then, obviously, like I said, have Cena and Owens do the standoff. They build the hype for SummerSlam, so Owens gets an NXT title defense takeover, which is next week or the week after.
Yes. It's not this week. It's a week on Wednesday.
Yeah, because it's quite near the end of the month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Wednesday the 20th, I think it is.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, with Zayn out, like you said, there's the three-way match that they could do at the start of the card and then have the contender come out that same night. Or they add a stipulation, like I said, to the Corbin or Rhino match, so whoever wins instantly becomes #1 contender or something. Yeah,
I think that's a decent plan. I mean, basically WrestleMania 30, basically what they did with Triple H, Daniel Bryan there. I think the triple threat would probably be your best bet because I think that match is to determine the #1 contender as it is.
Yeah.
And then it could be they could just basically, since Sami Zayn's injured, you're gonna have that title match tonight, and then obviously, I think that would be a huge match though. Let's think about it. Tyler Breeze versus Kevin Owens is probably going to be a good match. Hideo Itami and Finn Balor. Well, we've already seen what Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens is like.
Yeah. However,
That was
that match,
good.
the match was incredible. But with Itami though, he's nursing like a knee injury at the minute as well, so he can't really.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. I was like, jeez.
I don't think it's major. I think he's like strained something, like one of the major tendons or something, so he can still get around. But I mean, NXT
it's not something that requires him to take time out. Apparently, it's just a little bit of rest. He'll be fine. Apparently.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he's basically out. So, well, the other scenario I thought was have the triple threat, and then announce them as #1 contender, and then have Owens come out and do a squash match, because then technically that doesn't really count, does it? If they've just come off a three-way and they're exhausted, and he comes out and just does a squash, and he's just like, I beat Finn Balor for the second time, or I killed Itami, whatever. But then the main feud I said was to go have him retain, and then Cena and Owens have a match at SummerSlam. Owens wins, goes back to NXT, so he's a dual champion, but drops the title a week or so later to build up hype for the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank. No, we got Payback coming up.
Okay, Money in the Bank.
We're in May, yeah. So it'd be Money in the Bank, then SummerSlam, because it's in July or August, one or the other. And then what comes after that? Hell in a Cell, maybe.
I think so.
Or something
Night of Champions is probably coming up soon.
That could be it. But then, have the rematch with Owens and Cena at the next pay-per-view, and that could go either way. Either have Cena beat him and he goes back to NXT, or stays on the main roster, carries on a feud, or have Owens retain. Either way, it's a win-win. But anyway, Sammy has been injured, so we don't know. I don't know if he's going to work the match or not.
Apparently it's in doubt at the moment, but apparently the WWE doesn't know. Hand on Heart doesn't actually know itself yet. I'd imagine it's not that bad, because obviously Zayn was able to wrestle and wrestle pretty damn good. So maybe it's not that bad, but you never really know. Adrenaline in that moment can always carry you through it. Yeah,
true. But the thing is, he does have a very high pain threshold as well, though.
He does appear to, doesn't he?
Well, have you seen some of the Generico and Steen ladder matches and stuff, like Ladder War and all that?
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
He takes quite a lot of punishment, that guy.
He does. Admittedly, yeah, he really is quite a tough cookie, as they say.
So I think if the pay-per-view match isn't until next Wednesday, that would essentially give him about 10 or 11 days to rest, maybe write him out of NXT. So it won't be at full strength, but as we were saying, that would be a test for Kevin Owens to see if he could do it without hurting him, which I think he could.
I think he could. Yeah, it's I think he could do it. It's just a question of I'm pretty sure as well. Owens could easily come up with some offense there that doesn't necessarily have to be high impact on his shoulder. I mean, there's quite a fair bit you can do. It's just that bad for his shoulder, And plus, Kevin Owens is very strong. He can probably cradle and cushion Sami Zayn quite a fair bit in a lot of falls.
And the thing is, they could make it like a beatdown match as well. Make it a long match, but just make it like a beatdown where he just keeps going to the reverse chin lock and all that lot again. And I think with the shoulder, it'd be difficult, but I reckon the pop-up powerbomb could work, because if you were to land it but lean slightly towards the less injured shoulder, maybe you would potentially run the risk of injuring that shoulder, but there's less chance of getting seriously injured on the bad shoulder already.
Yeah, that's true. Or you could try and bump it so that you try and land it mostly on your lower back. That can work. If you try and take the bump on your lower back a bit and then sort of roll back onto your shoulders rather than actually smack your shoulder right onto the mat.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's just a thought. But...
It's a thought. But either way, we probably won't know till, it's Raw tomorrow, isn't it? So they'll probably be doing updates by then. So
yeah, probably.
Hopefully we'll find out then what's going on.
Yeah, hopefully. I think they're waiting. I haven't seen the result of the X-rays myself, and I know that's going to happen. Also, whilst we were briefly mentioning TakeOver, I really hope Enzo and Cass win the tag champs.
Yeah, they will.
That's got to happen, surely. Those two have really, really, really hit their stride, I think. In terms of entertaining the crowd, I don't think there's anybody really in NXT better at the moment, particularly on mic skills and the way they involve the audience.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's branching out to the main brand as well, isn't it? Like when we were at Raw, we had loads of those chants going on.
Oh yeah, that's a point. Yeah, exactly. When you get onto the main roster, people who got the loudest reactions were people with stuff that you could join in with, like R-Truth. He got a very loud reaction. Fandango did as well because everyone joined in with Fandangoing. But the guys that you don't have so much that you can really just sort of follow along with, they tend to struggle a bit more to get the reactions. So you have Enzo Amore and Big Cass. I can see that getting over, particularly if they were to do that at WrestleMania. Can you imagine that? It's like, what is it? It's not actually 70,000 people. That's just what the WWE says. But can you imagine like a whole stadium worth of people going, you can't teach that. Imagine that'd be quite a sight to behold.
Well, see, that would be a good idea to push them and give them the tag titles and hold them until Mania next year, because next year's Mania apparently is supposed to be the biggest in attendance in history. It's supposed to go over the 94,000. That's what I heard. That. That's what I heard. Anyway, yeah. Right? Well, because it's in Texas, isn't it?
Yeah. The only thing I'd say about Texas, the weird thing I find with the Texan crowds is I don't think they're as energetic as quite a few crowds are. Generally, the better crowds, I reckon, come from New York and Chicago. The northerner crowds in America seem to be better.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, Texans are they're kind of old school, aren't they? There'll be massive pops for Taker, Stone Cold, HBK, JBL, anyone from Texas, basically, or as close to Texas as you can get. But yeah, for the other sort of smaller guys, or like the guys that aren't big enough yet to be on the main stage in Texas, mainstay America and all that bollocks. No offense. Yeah, I suppose actually you'd be right. I don't see them going mental for Cass and Enzo, but the Cass and Enzo chants are filtering through to Raws now as well. You can hear them on Raw and everything.
Yeah, the as well the Sami Zayn chants obviously. I must admit, when I heard on the last week's Raw, when the crowd were just going ole 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 ole, like pretty much the whole show, I was like, do they know something that we don't?
Oh, see, I didn't even get that. I was just kind of like, they were chanting, and I thought, oh yeah, they're chanting for Sami Zayn. And then he comes out, and I was like, oh.
They must have read something.
They obviously see something in him to bring it. I know it's a hometown debut, and also you're going to have more momentum, but they must see something in him to bring him out like that, especially against John Cena as well.
Yeah, I must admit, oh no. What the hell just happened? Oh, my camera disconnected and reconnected.
I was going to say, I don't know what happened there.
And I've got a wider aspect ratio. Oh, that's kind of nice. You can see more of me.
If anything, you're smaller now on this screen.
Yeah, I just got zoomed out. I don't know. My camera just changed its definition somehow as aspect ratio. I must admit, though, I think they're planning to do something similar on our Raw with Finn Balor. I heard he was actually dressed, ready to go for a match. I have wondered, was he going to be? Would he have come out for the US Open Challenge? Had it not been for Barrett? I think they must have got. I think they maybe just got like pre-match jitters and just went with bad news Barrett because they know it's a guaranteed reaction in London rather than a possible huge reaction for Finn Balor.
Well, that and the fact I think Finn Balor debuted because did they go to Ireland? They must have been to Ireland.
Oh, they went to Ireland on the live shows, yeah.
Yeah, so I reckon he was there at the live shows because obviously that's going to be a bigger reaction, isn't it, being in Ireland?
Yeah, he did all the non-televised events. I heard. Yeah. Which is why I'm kind of intrigued. Maybe because I think in November they'll be doing like live shows in Bournemouth and Butland and the like. Maybe try and go to one of those because it'll be cheaper. 2, it'll be less distance to travel. The actual Raw in November's in probably Liverpool again. Yeah. And my God, that would be a long way to go. And also, I have a feeling there'll be more match orientated as well. more matches there, and possibly a couple of NXT stars. Like they'll probably bring Owens and Balor onto the roster as well. The only problem with that is you don't see so many of the big stars. You wouldn't get to see Kane or Randy Orton, I don't think. Maybe one or two of those guys, but not many. It'd be mostly a mid-card thing.
No, I think Cena would be there because I mean he's always there.
Well, I know CM Punk used to do all the live tours, but then again, that's because he was the champion. And if you've watched a podcast,
yeah. Well, the thing is that Cena will be there because he's always there. He's at every single event. He just doesn't get hurt that night. But yeah, as for big names, you might get Big Show,
that's a point.
Harper.
Oh yeah, Harper you'll get. Maybe Bray Wyatt if you're lucky.
Ambrose possibly as well.
Ambrose seems to be. I think Ambrose is. I think they did. I think Ambrose versus Wyatt headlined at one of the tours once.
Yeah, I think it just seems to be like an easy. Well, I say easier schedule, but like slightly easier on the guys because then obviously, like you said, with live shows they don't have to worry about fucking up so much because it's not taped or anything.
Yeah, I think they tend to take it a little bit easier as well, just to compensate for that as well. Just make sure they don't hurt each other.
Yeah,
but you never know.
I think the November one might be a good idea because I mean, especially being in Minehead, that's not really that far from us, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon if we were to be able to go to that one, it'd be quite a good little show. I reckon. Particularly if we can go to Minehead. It's quite an intimate little venue as well. It's only a 3,000 seat venue.
Yeah.
And like the O2 Arena is like a 17,000 seat venue, and we know how small that sort of feels when you're there. So
yeah,
the Butlins Arena must feel titchy. The Dilly Arena.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see it like house shows and live shows as opposed to just being at the big one.
Yeah, it is quite nice being at the big one because you can see yourself on TV and whatnot. But
yeah,
it is. I mean, going all the way to Liverpool and then probably just seeing a generic Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, because I don't think it would be anything too special, would it? Because if it's in November, what's the big pay-per-view in November?
Survivor Series. It was Survivor Series last time they were in Liverpool, and it was. I remember looking at the show in Liverpool, thinking I was like, that was better than the one we went to.
But at the same time, I mean, Survivor Series, is it really as big as it used to be?
Not really, but at the same time, it was. They're starting to wind up. I think they're starting to hint at their feuds for WrestleMania as well.
True.
Like, I remember they were starting to. Well, I mean, Sting debuted.
Yeah, I suppose there was that, and I mean, technically, I suppose it's one of the big four, isn't it? If you think.
Yeah, it's one of the traditional big ones, I think, for the WWE. Well, I see it as a big one.
Because then you have your four main, because the four of them come with a changing of the seasons. Because obviously in January you have the Rumble, so it's winter, and then you go on to Mania, which is springtime, SummerSlam, which is obviously summer, and then Survivor Series, which is like the start of winter. So yeah, I suppose technically it is one of the big four. But yeah, I mean Liverpool is just such a long way away. It would take
it is
quite an effort to get there and back in one go. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. I must admit though, I was tempted whilst we're thinking about trips. I was so tempted to buy a couple of tickets to that to Revolution Pro Wrestling at London because they have that AJ Styles. They have an AJ Styles match going on.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
I was so tempted. I was like, oh, £30 a ticket and AJ Styles. That would have been so nice.
That would have been good, but
again, it is a long way to go though, and it's not the WWE either. It's just literally the only real reason we bought the tickets were AJ Styles.
Yeah, but then you never know. Those shows can always surprise you. They can always have some quality wrestling that you just didn't know about.
That's the point. Yeah, that's the point. I mean, and the AJ Styles match is going to be quality.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter who he's against. I'd like to see AJ Styles versus Dave Mastiff, actually.
That'd be quite an interesting one.
I'm really getting into Dave Mastiff, actually.
I'll tell you what, though. He would not be able to hit the Styles Clash from Dave Mastiff.
I think he'd have a pretty big job to do that.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a broken neck moment, I think, for Dave Mastiff if that tried to happen.
Dave Mastiff is very top heavy.
He's a
Very
very,
top heavy.
very big boy.
He's a very solid lad, the kind of guy you would see working on the doors at like 3 a.m. in the hardest nightclub in London kind of guy.
Yeah, that's the kind of person he reminds me of. I'll tell you what, we've got more wrestling to come later on, so we should probably consider. Ooh, I don't know. Should we go with the Tories? Should we talk about the UK election? Because there's a couple of things that happened in the UK election which surprised me, sort of. And there's a couple of reasons why I think they happened. Well, I think they surprised most people, but they didn't really surprise me. And I'll explain why. So the first thing that happened was Tories won with a majority. So the Conservative Party are actually there with a majority, and they are the sole government this time around. Now, a lot of people are apparently surprised because none of the polls predicted a majority government. They all predicted it would have to be. They all sort of said, well, it's going to have to be a coalition again because nobody's going to win a majority. But here's the reason why I'm not surprised that happened. Because during the build-up to the election, there's a lot of talk that the Labour government, if Labour won, but not with a complete majority, that they would end up going into power with the SNP. Now, if you're an English person, the idea of the Labour going into coalition with the SNP is spectacularly bad. Because here's the thing, the SNP doesn't even want to be a part of the United Kingdom, and they'd be in charge of all of it, basically. Just would have been a disaster.
Well, the SNP were trying to align with UKIP as well, weren't they? Well, no, I think it was UKIP were, if they got majority of the votes and majority of the seats, they would stand as a party, just on their own. But if they didn't get enough, they would, like you said, collaborate, I suppose, with the SNP as well. So basically, if you voted for either party, you would be kind of fucking yourself in the ass.
Well, that's kind of what happened when I came to, because I went to vote after work on Thursday, and I was just there and I was looking at it. I was tempted to take Danny's name, but I didn't. I was like, well, the Lib Dems aren't going to win, and if Dan Rochester does win this seat, that takes a seat away from the Conservatives, which means they could end up losing the election to the Labour, and we could end up with. In the end, my vote was basically a prevention vote to prevent the sort of disaster scenarios of some of the parties who were going to just do something really radical and stupid. So I voted for Scott Mann, basically, is what I'm saying, the Conservative MP.
Oh, I didn't vote for Scott Mann. The thing is with. I mean, you can go back to, well, Thatcher, I suppose, back during the 80s and, well, late 70s.
Yeah.
She basically, now, has to be said, Maggie Thatcher, I had a lot of respect for because she had a lot of ideas. Some of her ideas were very wrong, but she stood by them and she fought tooth and nail to hang on to them and ensure that happened. And that is what happened. And she is like the first, like, female in the most male-dominated kind of profession in the world who stood up and said, well, fuck you, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. And it happened. So, all credit to Thatcher. Her ideas, though, left the country in a very big pit, a big wallowing pit of just shit and gunk and people just dumping on them from the skies who had more money than them and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I remember her reign was basically, well, I don't remember, I wasn't alive, but when I look back, it's basically her reign is essentially just a reign of two halves. The first part was okay. She squashed the unions who were basically just holding the country to ransom at that point. There's just like strikes there's like 5 strikes a day when she first came to power, and she got rid of all that. So there's a couple of things she did there that are right. And then it all went kind of wrong. To liken it to wrestling, I kind of see Margaret Thatcher as the Vince Russo of politics.
Yeah, like I said, her ideas were, at the start it was okay and for a short-term solution, but for a long-term solution, it was very, very bad. Then it was taken by John Major, wasn't it, in 1990?
Yeah, because I think her own party actually ousted her from power because they didn't think she could carry them into the next win. However, the thing was, the polls were suggesting that she was going to win another term in office, but the party weren't so convinced. Apparently, she had another really radical plan, and apparently it wasn't going to get anywhere. So they're like, boot her out and try John Major.
Yeah.
That didn't work. He was only in power for a couple of months, I think.
Yeah, he wasn't around very long, was he? And then it was, well, 97 was obviously Labour and Blair. And I remember the posters. Do you remember the red eye posters? I don't know if you remember those. I
was too young, really. I was only 6.
Thanks, John. You know how to kick a man in the bollocks when he's down, don't you?
Do I?
Yeah, that one hurt.
I was only 6.
Yes, well, at that time I was. How old was I?
What were you, 10, maybe?
Don't be so cheeky. Fucking hell. I was 9. Thank you very much, actually. Yeah. 88. Yeah, 88, 97. Yeah, I was 9 years old. And I remember the posters, like, with red eyes, and they were like, don't vote Blair in, he's going to fuck everything up, blah, blah, blah. Blair comes in, kind of starts to get things going fairly well at the beginning of the term, and he's like, right, national minimum wage, and, you know, blah, 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 whatever. Let's keep it how it is. And then the war happened.
Yeah, that one kind of cooked him up.
Kind of went to shit very quickly as well. However, my point is, whenever you have a war, it's great for the economy at the start. It's a massive boost because, you know, you pull all your funding and all the taxpayers are paying, and they're like, yeah, go get these fuckers, whatever. So at the start, it's amazing. All the, you know, trading rates go down and everything because they, you know, they want to fob you off, and they're like, oh, you know, well, we'll give cheap exports, the pound strong, blah, 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 everything else. And the thing is, whenever you have a war, there's bound to be a recession because essentially you've just spunked all the money that you had for a long-term investment plan in a very short space of time. And the money that you spunk has to come back from somewhere. And unfortunately, that somewhere is the British people. And that's what happened. We got royally fucked over. My point is, if they were going to have a war anyway, this is hypothetically speaking, let's just say because we're Britain, we're going to jump straight away and back America. Yeah, great. So regardless of who was in power, if they went to war anyway, this would have happened anyway. It wouldn't have mattered what party was in power at the time. It could have been Conservatives that won in 97. And if they went to war in 2001, we'd be in the same situation we're in right now. It doesn't matter what party is in power.
That's the thing, because when I was doing journalism training in Bournemouth, there was always we had to do politics and public affairs and stuff like that, and we were learning about like the constraints on a prime minister and how he has like official powers, and then he has real powers. He has like the powers that he has on paper, and then he has the powers that he can actually exercise. And like, you know, constraints on his power. And one of the big constraints was just like external factors, stuff which they can't control. And that can completely unmake a government. It's just stuff that they have no control over. Like, we weren't actually in a worldwide recession, I don't think, at the time that Brown came in.
No, we were heading for it, but we weren't quite there just
yet. Yeah, we were heading towards the iceberg without a big enough rudder to change a direction. So once Brown was there, he all of a sudden then got fucked over by a massive worldwide recession, which he has no control over. I mean, Gordon Brown can't control the worldwide recession. He's just the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and then he gets fucked. But that way, you know, stuff like that. The thing though that I find interesting though about this whole majority thing, right? It's the amount of fucking whinging and whining about the election this year, and now that we've had the election, Tories have won, fair play to them, and now people are like, get the Tories out of power movement. Why didn't you vote for somebody then?
Well, yeah, that's a double-edged sword. I agree with you.
Also, what's the point? I mean, why would you go and try and oust the government, and then basically, and then, yeah, so the Tories are in power. Now you're trying to take them out of power again. It's like, no, we don't like them. The vast majority of people voted for them. Okay, so I've got 2 comments that have just popped up here from Tashona Knight. I hope I pronounced that right. First thing, Glenn, why are you so chuffed?
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Nice, right? Nice.
What I love is, do you know what I love the most about that entire thing? Is that
You know what it is? It's chocolate. That's how you do it.
No, Chad. Do you know what the best part is? She didn't spell chubby correctly.
Well, yeah, Chubby as well. That's the point.
From now on, you're gonna have to call yourself the Tube. That is amazing.
I am the Tube.
The Tube. Hello, my Tubesters.
Hello, my Tubesters. I am the Tube.
That's excellent. She's giving you good material to go on. Okay, what's the next comment? Thank you for the.
And then it's this.
The what?
I have a feeling there might be some typos involved in that. The Billy Gomez game of chess.
I'm not quite sure what
I
that is.
don't know what that is.
I may do a Google search.
Is it supposed to be the game? Is it supposed to be a game of chess? Some sort of major.
How is it spelled? Hang on. P-O-L.
That's the comment again.
Wait a sec. P-I-L-I. Oh shit. Hang on.
G-O-M-I-S.
Yeah, can you read it out? P-O-L-I-G.
Yeah, P-I-L-I-G-O-M-I-S. And then game of chess.
Hang on. P-I-L-I.
P-I-L-I-G-O-M-I-S.
M-I-S. Okay.
Yeah. And then it's just game of chess.
Game of chess. Okay. The first result that comes up is wife caught trying to sneak home drunk.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Maybe it's polygamist.
Could be.
There's a lot of results here. Britney Spears chest. Oh, well, seeing as I'm here. Clickbait.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to look at that?
Oh, that's disappointing. There's nothing.
How disappointing.
Yes. Okay. Well, if you could spell that slightly better, I'm not sure if it's because you're not English or you're not.
I guess that's it. And I'm also looking at the profile picture. Doesn't look very old, if I'm honest.
I love it though, Glenn. Why do you look so chubby?
Yeah.
He's chubby because he eats cheese twists. Okay, it's an addiction.
You see, now I don't eat that many of those anymore. I had one in my break today, but I'm cutting them out. I'm cutting them out. It's slowly happening. I'm slowly changing my ways to a healthier way of life.
Oh, Glenn,
unfortunately, the change is incredibly slow.
Hey, Glenn, why are you so chubby?
Why are you so chubby?
Don't be naughty. Oh god, that was good. Right. Anyway,
motherfucker, don't call me chubby.
Chubby. That's amazing. The tube. Oh, brilliant. Oh. I
love the show. This is why I love the show. It's so good.
That is probably the lull moment of the year so far. That one.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Post Pro 2.0 moment of the year. HPA's 2015.
Glenn, why are you so chubby? Oh, that's brilliant. Right. Back to train of thought. What were you saying? You were saying.
I was talking about how it's completely ridiculous that people are trying to oust the Tories from power.
Yeah, now the thing is, I've noticed this year with much of the voting is a lot of younger people seem to be going to vote, whereas before they wouldn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is good. I actively encourage people to vote. The thing is, with the people that are complaining and saying they want to get the Tories out of power, they're most likely the people, I don't want to stereotype, but most likely the people that didn't vote at all. And what a lot of people don't seem to understand is, if you do not vote, if you're registered to vote and you do not, you don't vote at all, there's no cross, there's nothing, you don't even leave your house, whatever. That blank piece of paper will be marked as a vote to the party that is currently in power. I don't know how many people actually know that.
That's a point, yeah. I don't think many people do.
Exactly. So, you figure, they won on a landslide majority, but was it because 3 million or 4 million people decided not to vote? You figure there's, what, 63 million people in England?
Yeah, but if that is how it happened, then...
Well, yeah, exactly.
Those people is go fuck yourselves, because if you're not interested enough in democracy to actually vote, you're not interested enough to be able to have the right to protest. You just don't. You have no right to protest over who actually does get voted in, because if you don't vote, that's your own fucking fault.
Hang on, just to bring in a metaphorical mind over there. Okay. Hello? What did you make of the 2015 general election?
Did you just say it was all right?
Yeah.
I thought he would. As soon as you turned around to name, I was like, oh, here we go. It was all right. Yeah,
but see, I agree with you on the fact that people that didn't vote, whose votes counted to keep the Conservatives in power, then yeah, that's your own fault. If you can't be bothered to go and vote, if you want to change, even if you did vote Conservative or whatever, if you're saying you want to change and you're sick and tired of whatever, then you need to go and vote to have a chance at getting the party that you want in power and whose policies you like into power. So if you can't be bothered to vote and your on-counter vote goes to the party already in power, then that's your own fault.
Yeah, basically. It comes down to people just sort of either being completely ignorant or just plain stupid.
Or lazy.
Or lazy. Yeah, laziness is a big one. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I mean, we see so many examples of it that we just don't have time to go into it right now. Mm-hmm. But I mean, my God, you see so many people who just don't seem to have a bloody grip. You just don't have a clue.
Yeah.
About life. It's like
we see that a lot.
Yeah, I must admit, I had a moment where they just pushed that little bit too hard, and I snapped. I bit back a bit earlier today.
I'm surprised you didn't the other day. Did you not see the other day when I was like literally pissing myself with laughter?
Which one was that again?
That would have been Friday afternoon.
Was I there?
You were there. Oh yeah, you were there. It's hard to not to describe it, but basically there were two individuals that were quite well. There were two individuals, and one of them was quite impolite to you, but in a hilarious way.
Impolite to me in a hilarious way.
Yeah. It was kind of, I had just finished and you'd been there not long, and there were two individuals, and one of them was quite abrupt and forward and rude to you and somebody else. Another, how can I put it? Well, let's just say a manager. Let's just put it that way. You honestly don't remember this?
I can't remember what they said.
Oh, you honestly can't. Oh, it was fucking hilarious. I was just stood there creasing with laughter, and Simon kind of just walked past me and was like, "Yeah, I know." My first thought was, "How have you not murdered?"
I must have just completely not heard them, or because a lot of the time now I just blank people.
I think you literally were. I could see the look on your face.
I just go into the void and only come out of it to do the job. That's it.
I literally did. I saw the look on your face, and I was like, he's either not there or he's incredibly pissed off. He's doing very well to hide it.
It's more I'm not there because I can't think of what it was that they said.
It was hilarious. It was so funny.
You might have to jog my mind here. I want to know now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I can't go into too much detail because it gives away the secret nature of work.
Point. We'll have to talk about it at the end of the show then, because I honestly can't remember. But yeah, a lot of the time now, I just sort of go to a separate plane of existence. I enter the void and just forget about most of them. But yeah, to the I'm getting much more snappy. I'm getting very intolerant again very fast.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It's a problem, and it's going to lead to a problem very, very soon.
I can imagine so.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, the stupidity of that is, basically don't go and protest to get the ballot power if you couldn't be bothered to vote.
Yeah, like I say, you don't have any right to, really, do you?
Exactly. You've made your bed, now you have to lie in it. And if the next 5 years turn, completely fuck Britain over, well, you should have voted.
Yeah, basically. It's that simple, I think. So, Spanish Grand Prix. Let's do that one. Or I shall just quickly outline that.
Yeah, you take the reins on that one.
Not a huge amount of interest. Not much racing. It's Spain. The problem with Spain is basically they do a lot of testing at Spain, so basically nearly all of the teams know about the track. So it's very difficult to overtake. It's very technical, and there's not that many long straights followed by slow speed corners where you can outbrake your rival or something. So as a result, race itself is quite dull. A few things we did learn. Ferrari have not developed their car as well as Mercedes. Mercedes seem to have pulled out a bit of a gap again, unfortunately. Only this time it was Nico Rosberg who won the race, which is good. That's good news for the inter-team battle, and anybody who wants to see those two guys fight it out for the world title again. Nico Rosberg finally put a peg in Lewis Hamilton's dominance. Will he be able to do it again? I don't know. Hamilton seems to be coming back again at the end of that race, so you never really know. Other things we learned are that Fernando Alonso is a complete liar. When he told us in the at the Bahrain Grand Prix that the Bahrain Grand Prix was going to be the last race McLaren aren't fighting for points, he lied, because in this race, again, they're not fighting for points. They retired a car, and the other car only managed to beat a team which didn't even know it was going to be racing until Australia. So, you remember I told you about that team when I told you they turned up to the race without a way to start their car?
Yeah.
That's basically the only team that McLaren, the mighty McLaren, managed to beat. So it's not very good.
Well, that's weird, because you said you reckoned that if they could have got their car off the track, maybe it was an amazing car.
Well, that's a thing. Oh, no. That's slightly wrong. I always knew that if Manor Marussia managed to get that car on track, it would be hopelessly slow. And it is, unfortunately. The thing with the McLarens, they were talking about amazing development pace, and it hasn't happened. Either that, or it was just a problem with today's car, like a bit of a glitch or something. You never know, but the McLaren aren't looking strong. Toro Rosso's had a good race, and Valtteri Bottas once again managed to hold off a Ferrari. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot that really nothing interesting really happened. It's just a bit of it's a bit of more of the same kind of race, really. Unfortunately, which means I must. When it comes to Spain, the Spanish Grand Prix, there's only one thing I can say. Just 2 words. How disappointing. Basically, that's my summary of the. That is my summary of the Spanish Grand Prix. How disappointing.
Okay.
So we can move on to another. I think it's going to be another short topic. This one, Windows news. So here's how what I've managed to find out. The only reason it caught my eye is basically because of the nature of Windows. Anyway, we all know about Windows. It's the operating system that nearly every PC in the world uses. And here's the thing. Microsoft are developing a new Windows. It's Windows 10. And which makes me wonder what the hell happened to Windows 9. I completely missed that one. But Windows 10 is coming out. And Smudge! Hello. Snuggers. And yeah, so Windows 10 is coming along. And one of the chiefs of Microsoft has actually said quite conclusively that Windows 10 is going to be the last version of Windows. There will be no Windows 11. It is not going to be happening. This is the last Windows.
Well, again, like you said, whatever happened to Windows 9? Unless
I completely missed that.
Unless Windows 10 is so great it completely surpasses the need for a 9.
Point, maybe. Unless if they just basically release 9 as an update for 8, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe call it 8.9 or something, I don't know.
Yeah, Windows 8 2.0.
Yeah, I don't really understand what happened to Windows 9, but well, I don't know what the new features of Windows 10 are going to be.
I don't really know either. Right. It can't be any worse than Windows 8. Well, Windows 8 was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you compare Windows 8 to Windows Vista, and it's good. You compare Windows 8 to Windows XP, and it's bad.
Or Windows 7.
Well, yeah,
Windows 7, I think, was the optimum one. Windows 7 really was quite good, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid. I think it's probably one of the most popular one, I would imagine.
I think so.
Unless you get some kind of geek who managed to optimize some version of Windows 95 to run on today's broadband, I don't know.
Yeah, that probably happened. The only thing I'm thinking though is what will come after Windows. We're entering the world of the unknown in terms of PC software now.
Well, yeah, because Windows has always been the gateway to the next sort of step, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's always been there. It's like
it's gone.
What's gonna happen?
What's it going to be replaced with?
Microsoft Gateway 1, maybe? Gateway, maybe?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Windows 10. I mean, essentially, if it's Windows 10, that means there'll never need to be another Windows again. So unless it's something super
that's basically
advanced,
what they say, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm sure there'll probably even be a Firefox add-on or something that's probably going to be better than Windows 10. Unless for some reason it's ridiculously amazing, but I don't see how they could do that because they don't really seem to change the formula that much.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm quite confused. I imagine they do say they're going to release updates for it, but on a continual basis, like an update thing, software upgrades rather than an actual whole new version, which is weird, really.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where they're going to go with this one.
I mean, how are they going to keep that going in 20 years?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Unless it somehow kind of adapts and changes.
They found the optimum way of doing things, and it's their need to upgrade it, like you say.
I mean, unless it's some kind of way where it's garnered its own sort of AI to learn to change to become better, which would be awesome, but quite scary as well, because that means the Terminator is on the way.
Yeah, talk about scary things to do with Terminators. Genesis.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up, isn't it? No, that's out, isn't it?
Is it?
I think it's out, isn't it? Or is it June? It might be.
I might have to check this. Let's find out.
Sure I mean, out or not yet.
I think it's either imminent or it might already be out. You might be right, but my good God, what a horrible June 25th.
Oh, June. Okay.
Yeah.
No, so we've still got a month to wait for the epicness.
I honestly, yeah, I'm
skeptical.
I'm not entirely sure skeptical is the right word. Panicked about it, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not really panicked. The thing is, like I said, it's not really
bad.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Let's put it that way. It'll be worth seeing, but it's not going to be top film of 2015. I don't think.
Well, I mean, it's going to have. Well, it's going to have a T-1000 in it. We know that. We know it's going to have 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminators in it. We know it's going to have a John Connor Terminator in it. I mean, what the fuck's going on there?
The subliminal message that the Terminators have taken over subconsciously and we didn't know?
Maybe. I don't know. It's confusing me. All I can guarantee is this: I'm probably not going to enjoy Terminator Genesis as much as I enjoyed watching Avengers 2.
I don't think you're going to watch anything this year that's going to top Avengers 2, to be honest.
Well, for point.
Unless they push forward a release of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah, maybe that could do it. I must say, looking forward to Jurassic World. I am looking forward to that one.
I have an itchy ankle. Yeah, see, I'm not really up into films at the minute, but yeah, Jurassic World is going to be one that I want to see. As is Avengers 2, which we discussed earlier. Oh,
yes, that's a point. We do have to go and see that. You are going. You will like it.
Smudge is giving me some attacking.
Wait, is Smudge doing that thing where he starts attacking your arm again?
Yep.
Yeah, he sounds like he's gone a bit crazy.
Can I have my arm back now? Are we done? Is that a yes or a no? I'll take that as a no. Yeah, Avengers 2 is one you were saying we have to go and see that. Yes, because it does look really good. Is it as good as everybody says?
Well, I haven't seen what everybody else says about it, but I say it's very good.
Well, yeah, I haven't actually seen any reviews or anything.
No, yeah, I liked it a lot. See, Jay earlier asked me if it was better than Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. It sort of gets going a lot easier. It gets going a lot sooner, and the pacing's better, and there's more development going on there. The characters are more developed, and there's more going on in the storylines to keep you interested, and there's more heroes with more abilities. That's all cool. There's also more plot twists, and plus they really flesh out Hawkeye. They take Hawkeye and try their best to make him your favorite Avenger. And personally, they succeeded with me. He's now one of my favorites, if not the favorite.
You say that, but Avengers 3 with Spider-Man is going to be coming up next year or the year after.
That is a very good point. They're doing that in 2 parts, I think. They're doing, and it will be Spider-Man. Well, the thing is, Spider-Man debuts next year in Captain America: Civil War. Apparently, you will see Spider-Man in that, and then they're going to do their own standalone Spider-Man movie. And then he'll be taking his place in the Avengers Elimination, or something like that. Can't remember what it's called. I'm also hoping there'll be another Guardians of the Galaxy movie. You know what I'm looking forward to is just seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy team up with the Avengers. That's going to be brilliant.
Well, I think there is going to be a Guardians 2, because I know for a fact Batista signed on.
Yes, he did actually. You're right.
He signed on for another film. I don't know if it was a multi-deal or just the next one. But yeah, he signed on, so there is definitely a sequel of the work.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The interesting thing, though, the thing that I find really intriguing about next year in terms of movies, okay, so you got 2 big summer blockbusters. DC are going to be launching Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and Marvel's launching Captain America: Civil War, which, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Civil War storyline, take out nerd mode. It's basically a massive superhero war. It's basically what it says it is. 2 different, all the Marvel heroes split between 2 different sides. Team Iron Man versus Team Captain America, and they basically go head to head in one massive conflict. And it's just ridiculously epic. So it's basically Iron Man versus Captain America versus Batman versus Superman. Is going to be the next year movie lineup. Blockbuster. I'm looking forward to that.
I see both of them doing very, very well.
I think so. I'm still a bit on the fence though as to whether or not I'm actually excited about what's his name again? Oh, that's not a good thing. Hey, what's his name again?
Who?
Ben Affleck. Yeah, I'm still a bit on the fence as to whether or not I'm actually hyped about Ben Affleck as Batman.
Well, the thing is, Ben Affleck is Batman now, so deal with it.
Yeah, point. I will.
That's the way I look at it.
I am dealing with it. I'm a bit happier now that I've seen the first trailer. Trailer? Yeah, it's a trailer. Who won? You know, every movie has one.
At least one. Yeah, the trailer looks really good, actually.
I think so. And seeing a lot of stuff on screen screen fights, or is it movie junkies? Cinema. Fucking hell. I think it's movie fights and the actual channel's called Screen Junkies. Yeah, that's it. I've got it right now. Sure it is. But Screen Junkies aren't very high on it at all at the moment. If I'm not mistaken.
But there's only been one trailer, isn't there?
True. Still got a whole year yet before that one comes out. So they've got a lot of work to do yet before they're even close to ready, in fairness.
What was the original topic anyway? I forget now.
We basically just finished off Windows 10.
I
don't have a huge amount to say about it, really. I was just sort of covering the fact that they said it's going to be the last one.
Yeah, apparently this is going to be the ultimate.
Yeah. Fair play to them if they're that confident. I mean, I wouldn't be.
I see AI in Windows 10 for some reason.
I know what you mean. Shall I quickly do the Nissan GT-R?
Yeah.
Thing is, I don't have. It's not really a full. It's not like they are doing a. They haven't unveiled full details on the new Nissan GT-R just yet. However, there's been a little bit of talk about it, so it is interesting because basically Nissan have confirmed that the new GT-R will be using an evolved version of the LMP1 V6 twin turbo that's currently used in their Le Mans race car. So what they're effectively saying is the Nissan GT-R is going to use an engine found in their racing car, in their Le Mans racing car, which is completely ridiculous. And here's, just in case you're wondering how powerful that actually is, let me put a figure on that for you. They are, at the moment, in the Le Mans race car, which also uses hybrid technology similar to F1, the engine produces 1,250 brake horsepower, which is a lot. It's a really large amount of power in a car which weighs a very small amount. Thing is, I've heard the GT-R probably isn't going to be that powerful. And the only reason for that is I don't think they're going to be cramming in that hybrid technology to add the power. I think it's literally just going to be the V6 twin turbo, standardized. But they're talking 550 to possibly 700 horsepower, easy, which is a lot for the GT-R, which the GT-R has always been more about handling. So the fact that they're trying to beef up that power as well. The other thing that's worth mentioning is it will make the GT-R incredibly economical, like 3 times as economical as it is now.
Which is quite a big ask, really, when you think about it.
It is, but I mean, it's possible. And this is the interesting thing, though, about motorsport. It's a crucible for invention and automotive innovation. If you can get motorsport and plug yourself into it, and you can use it to test drive so many technologies. The McLaren P1, for instance, I know for a fact uses the kinetic energy recovery systems that they're using in F1 cars. What that does is it's basically what it says it is. It's not the same. I don't think it's the same thing that they had before. No, it might be. What they do is they basically use the brakes to essentially charge the onboard battery, so they can give you an extra boost of about 180 brake horsepower in today's F1 cars. So it's basically using the energy created by braking to charge up the power and then give you more power, rather than just wasting all of that energy in heat and slowing the car down. They're trying to take that energy and make it useful. They put that on the McLaren P1 to charge the hybrid motor, and DRS is drag reduction system, which is basically, all F1 cars have that big rear wing on it, right? Well, DRS is they basically open that rear wing up like a letter, like a letterbox, so that it completely reduces all the downforce, and they can just get a higher top speed. And the P1 uses that, so it's another example of motorsport being used to test technology, which can make road cars better.
Yeah, it's a good industry to get into. Well,
Yeah.
unless you're Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Jeremy Clarkson's in the industry of slating all of that innovation.
And technically, yeah, he's a journalist, so he's not exactly building. And plus, he can give quite a biased view on it as well. If he chooses to, because it's the BBC, they're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever.
The interesting thing though is, they announced who they've shortlisted to host Top Gear now, going forward. Let's see if I can find that list of names. Top Gear hosts. New. Let's see, new. And where's it gone? No, that's not what it is. Anyway, let's see if I can find it.
Can you remember any of the names?
I can remember one. Are this trio the new Top Gear hosts? Oh, yeah, here we go. More.
Right, I'll have a look as well.
So you've got the former glamour model, Jodie Kidd, Philip Glenister from Life on Mars, and wait, where's the other one gone?
Oh yeah, Philip Glenister. Who the hell is that guy?
Where is it?
Guy Martin.
Guy Martin, that's it.
Mm.
Who's a complete unknown, basically.
It
sounds like a disaster to me.
I hope this is some kind of joke. I mean, Glenister, I can sort of see.
Kidd, I can kind of see, in a way. She has been on the show before.
Yeah. I think, though, to be honest, they could have done with keeping one of the original three.
Yeah, preferably
original
May if they can.
Yeah, May. I mean, especially with someone like Philip Glenister as well. I think May would work really well with him.
Yeah. I still think they've missed a trick in not hiring Chris Harris, but whatever.
I honestly don't know how good this is going to be from now on. I can imagine you saying, I'm going to do Host Pro early because I don't want to watch Top Gear.
Yeah, or I'm just going to keep Host Pro at the same time because I can wait to watch Top Gear, yeah.
Either way, I don't see it being top of the most watched list with those three. No offense, but
no, I don't think so. I doubt it. Oh, here comes Smirch. He's about to attack again. You know what it is? It's that talk of Jurassic World. That's what's done it.
No, he just has random crazy attacks.
He's like, oh, you want to talk about velociraptors, do you? Let me show you what it'd be like to be mauled by one.
He's alright. He's calm down. Calm down.
He's smudgy.
That's close enough.
Yeah, he's being cute again now.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's back to his cute ways. Shall we go back to the topics? Because I think we started ranting about Top Gear there and how it's not going to be so good. I've got Would You Rathers now.
Okay.
I've got 3 of them. One of them's a really innocent one. One of them's a bit grisly, and one of them is sexual. Anyway, it is sexual.
Such a child, aren't I? Sexual.
Sexual. He's got sesame seeds on his buns.
If I was a mature adult, I would have. If I was a mature adult, I just would have gone. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Or I could have gone. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's a. Okay. That's the first. Okay, so the first one is the innocent one. So, would you rather be forced to walk everywhere, absolutely everywhere, with no assistance at all, not from trains, nor buses or lifts, anything? Or would you rather drive a car everywhere, but with Tom Jones, What's New Pussycat, blasting out at all times, full volume on the stereo?
I'd have to go for driving because I quite like Tom Jones.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty easy. And for me as well, it's really easy. It's like walk or drive.
Yeah, but I mean, walk everywhere? I mean, what if you had an appointment?
Yeah, walk everywhere, exactly.
No, it'd just take too fucking long and you'd be knackered and you'd probably die after about a week or so.
Well, exactly. And plus, for me as well, it's like, do I walk or do I drive? That's not exactly a difficult choice for me. Drive, please. Thanks.
Driving is so much easier as well. And I like Tom Jones.
Even if I don't want to listen to that, I can just stick some earplugs in.
Well, yeah, exactly. Or you just learn to accept it, to be honest. It'd be like background noise.
Yeah, just deal with it, exactly. So that's the innocent one. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Now this one, I don't know if it's going to be so easy. Now, would you rather die via shark attack or die via gorilla attack?
Ooh.
You see, now it sounds difficult. Do you want to know why it isn't?
Why?
Because in only one of these scenarios do you die quickly.
Yeah, I was thinking that probably the shark. You'd have a more probable chance of dying quicker from a shark attack than you would a gorilla attack, because that gorilla will make you its bitch before you die.
Yeah. Okay. So a shark attack is you're swimming on the surface of the ocean and it just comes up mega speed underneath you, and you just get a brief "oh shit" and then you're dead. Now a gorilla, it comes charging up to you in the forest, and you get a very long, prolonged "oh shit." You try and run away. Right? But you can't. It's a gorilla. And then the thing is with a gorilla as well, he's not just going to kill you in one quick blow. No. It's not going to be a decisive thing. He's going to fling you around. You're going to get broken bones, dislocations. It's going to be a very, very painful, messy death if you go by gorilla. If you go by shark, it's still going to be messy, but at least you'll be dead from the first bite, basically.
Generally, yeah. I think you'd have a higher probability of dying instantly or as quick to instant as possible from a shark attack rather than you would a gorilla, because that gorilla will just... not only will it kill you, it will kill you slowly, painfully, and it will molest you on the way out. You will not be feeling good when you get to heaven or hell. Believe that.
Yeah. I wouldn't believe that. Yeah, that gorilla is gonna get very, very enthusiastic. What he lacks in decisiveness, he will make up for with enthusiasm.
And I don't care how strong you are. There is no way you could fight off a gorilla. There's just
I mean, literally, you could be Brock Lesnar. You're not gonna win a fight against the gorilla. There's no way.
No, it would tear you apart. Gorillas are insanely... They're just, like, to me, they would be the ultimate predator if they were carnivorous. Let's hope that never happens, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're silverback as well.
Imagine an army of them charging up the street. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'd rather just get a gun. If I had a gun in that moment, I wouldn't shoot at the gorillas because I know that's basically pointless. I'd just shoot myself and get over with.
Yeah, kind of. There's basically no way out from that. But what was I going to say? Have you seen that video? This could be an impromptu one. Have you seen that video of that man that slaps the cobra?
The man that slaps the cobra?
Have you not seen that? Oh, it's brilliant.
I need to see this. Okay. Where is it? Where's my YouTube? There it is.
I don't know if it's YouTube or...
Man slaps cobra.
Yeah.
Amazing snake man slaps cobras on the head.
No, go to man slaps cobra. It should be the third one. It's like 8 seconds long.
Yeah.
Click on that one, right, and watch this.
Okay. Here we go. Here comes the cobra. That's brilliant.
That is literally amazing. It's just like the cobra jumps up to bite him like one of the most venomous predators in the world, and he's just like bitch slaps it and is like, no.
He's like, bitch, please.
Denied.
Now that guy could make a gorilla his bitch. The gorilla
Yeah,
comes to him and he just goes, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I can imagine him just slapping a gorilla and the gorilla just collapsing.
And the gorilla just goes, oh, sorry. Sorry, can we talk about this? That is just such a nonchalant slap as well. He didn't even slap it that hard.
Yeah, I just love how he's just there and this
just like
fucking predator comes up and he just goes, bitch! And he just smacks it down and the cobra's like, ow.
That's brilliant. That is very good.
I'm trying to find a second one as well. I think it's this one. I will share it into the. Wait a second. I'll just check it's the right one. Yes, it's interesting. You're talking about silverbacks. Hang on, and you were saying like how you're basically fucked if one comes up and attacks. Well, you're not if you're this guy. I'll paste it into chat. There you go.
Here's an interesting idea. I wonder if I can find that video I did. I once did a video called chat. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, this guy goes thug life on a gorilla.
He just stood there. What the fuck?
He just stands there and he's like, "What? Come on, then."
Wow.
His reaction is just like, "What do you want, son?"
He's like, "Oh yeah, what you gonna do, bitch?"
Now,
and the gorilla's like, nothing.
I imagine actually, if a gorilla came charging at you and you had that reaction, it probably wouldn't know what to do.
That's probably what happened there. Actually, he just is like, and what? And then the gorilla's like, I don't know.
I mean, the gorilla's being primal and everything. If they see something running and they know they can be faster and chase it down, they're going to see it as prey. But I suppose if you just stand there and go like, what? It's just kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, therefore I have to be afraid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not suggesting anybody try this, by the way.
Yeah, if you just stand there whilst they're trying to scare you, then it's like lions. If you run away from a lion, it triggers their chase reflex, and you're basically fucked.
Yeah, predator.
The best thing you can do with a lion is just not run away. Ironically.
Well, the thing is as well, because they're primal animals, they sense fear. So I imagine if a gorilla came charging at you and you were just like, what? Imagine if you were Nathan, put it that way.
Oh yeah, if you were Nathan, you'd be fine.
Yeah, because it would just run up and he'd just be like, what? What's going on?
Yeah, well, sorry, what?
I can't imagine him running or doing anything. He'd just be stood there like, what? With his laptop as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we do need to get Nathan on this, don't we?
Is that really a good idea?
We talk about Nate quite a lot on the show, and I think it'd be quite interesting for the people to actually just see who we're talking about and experience Nathan for themselves. Because it's quite an experience.
I'll get him to make a Google Plus account this week, so he
can
join us next time.
We'll have to show them Nathan. See, I'm looking for a video I did. It was quite a long time ago where I did the top 25. I think it's the top animals you don't want to mess with. It was quite a way back. I want to see if I can find it. Ooh, it might be in the players, the top 10s or something. It's not like a top 10 list. Top 10s there, the tiers. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is, the top 15. You might want to, let's see if, whilst we're thinking about animals you don't want to fuck with, try watching this video and see if you agree with my list. I'll paste it into the chat. Let's see if you agree with this list. And people, I'll put a link in the description if you're watching this after the show, and then you'll be able to hopefully watch this one with us. Because I'm on 0 minutes at the moment, so 504 views. That's actually not done too badly.
I've just got to 21 seconds. Box jellyfish, and yeah, I agree with that.
Oh yeah. All right, you're already at 20 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going again.
Okay, I'm already at number 14. Are you ready to go for number 14?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Drew, you don't want to fuck with those bastards.
They're fucking bitches to fight by yourself, aren't they, Hornets?
They are fucking...
Ironically, when that video continues on, that Hornet gets fucked up by a load of bees.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of bees. Why geese?
They're vicious, man. Geese are vicious.
They're not as vicious as chickens or roosters.
No, that's the point.
Roosters are fucking vicious bastards.
Now, you have to agree with me on this one, right? Piranha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck the piranhas. Although that said, Jeremy waded it and actually made it out quite unscathed, to be honest. Much unlike that bird.
Yeah, the mamba's deadly.
Yeah, that is one of the most dangerous snakes. I think it's known
Well,
as
not to the cobra guy, though.
No, yeah, of course the cobra guy just going to be like, bitch!
Yeah, elephants are quite docile, but you don't want to piss them off.
Yeah, elephants are docile until you look like you're trying to threaten their young. In which case you get that thing where they charge you with their ears going crazy.
Why didn't you play Rhino's music over this?
I was tempted. I didn't think about it actually. But you look at that rhino, man. It's fucking up that African buffalo.
Yeah, that buffalo's a big boy.
Yeah, it's a big boy, and he's getting manhandled. So basically, Rhino is the ultimate in that regard. What did I say for 8 again? I can't remember. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, shark.
Yeah, we were talking about great white sharks. You see that hunting technique there? That's what I mean.
Mm.
At least with the shark, it's over quickly, because you're going to be dead after that point.
Well, it basically swallows you half whole as well, anyway.
It does, yeah. Can't remember what I put for snow.
Yeah, they're vicious fuckers.
Oh, yeah, grizzly bear is not something you want to be fighting bare-fisted.
Unless you're Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's the point. You just roundhouse kick it in the face. But, yeah, that deer isn't going anywhere fast. Unfortunately for it.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty.
Oh, yeah, apparently, except for mosquitoes, they are the animal that's responsible for the most deaths in Africa, the hippo.
Jeez.
I mean, you can see the size of their tusks as well. You don't have any trouble believing it. Plus, they're huge.
Yeah, those things are massive.
Oh, yeah. So I think they can grow up to something like 22 foot.
Fucking huge.
They are huge. I mean, they are insanely powerful as well.
Imagine something the size of a fucking canoe snatching you out of the water.
Yeah, basically. And you won't see it coming either.
Big kitty.
Ooh, he's like smudged, but really dangerous.
Well, you say that. I think if you raised them from
Birth, they probably wouldn't kill you.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't Mike Tyson have a tiger?
Yeah, he had one. And you see videos on the internet of like zookeepers that have grown with the tigers and they're like their best friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, kill away.
I think all cats can be like that.
Well, Smudge can, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the orca. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'd rather Smudge did it than a
in case you
Bengal
don't know
tiger.
what it is that these orcas are playing with, it's a seal that they're messing around with there.
I think I prefer Smudge to attack me rather than a tiger, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd rather have to fight Smudge and a tiger if I had to.
Yeah, these bastards.
Here we go, the silverback gorilla, what we were talking about. See, that's why my memory jogged, because I knew. Now, number one was I'm going to warn you right now. Well, you'll know where I was coming from with this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gathered the bunnies would be last.
Yeah, you can see where I was coming from with that. But look at the carpet. Look what it's doing to the carpet, and look what it does in a minute to this cushion. Yeah, it brutalizes a cushion in a second. See the carpet? It's ripping it to pieces. And there you go. There goes the cushion as well. Nothing is safe from the terror of a bunny rabbit. Bunny rabbit.
What's this sexual would you rather?
Yes. Let's move on to that now. Now that we've officially discovered that bunny rabbits are more dangerous than gorillas. So it's the second one. It involves another. It's vaguely reminiscent of the one we did a while ago, actually.
Okay.
Anyway, would you rather date an 8 out of 10 girl who only allowed you to dry hump her, or a 2 out of 10 girl who would do anything?
2 out of 10, always.
Oh.
Always, man. Christ. What would be the point of being with a ridiculously hot girl if all you can do is dry hump her? Fuck that.
That's the point.
Jesus Christ. I mean, in case you haven't noticed, picking up a 2 on my radar, that'd be a fucking improvement.
Yeah, I suppose it would be for me as well, considering how tubey I am.
Definitely go with fucking... Yeah, go with a number 2. Jesus Christ, imagine what you can do with it. Jesus.
Which, by the way, Chubby, I want to warn you. You want to be careful who you say that to. Because people, not everybody in this world, by the way, is like me. Not everybody in the world will be so mild-mannered that they don't just stick a pen through your neck and then decide to write and sign their autograph with your face! Here's the thing. You thought you were being funny. You thought you were being funny. But no! I will make your eyeballs bleed with blue ink! Motherfucker. Call me Chubby. Anyway, yeah, no.
That was actually a very short rant.
Yeah, I decided not to go. I don't know. I regained my composure quite quickly that time. I need to come up with some more rants ready to go for next time somebody pisses me off. Anyway.
Well, that's the whole point of a rant, though. It's impromptu.
It is, basically, yeah. I don't know. I was holding my pen. And I was like, pen-based pain. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Anyway, yeah, I think you have to agree. I mean, you can do all sorts of freaky shit with a 2 out of 10, which, I mean, is going to be quite fun just because it's going to be experimental as opposed to just dry humping, which is basically pointless.
Yeah, I mean, that would just be ridiculous. And going out with an 8 out of 10 and you can't do anything. It's like, well, what's the point then, really?
Yeah, because
2 out of 10 all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't even say that she'd perform oral on you. It's just literally just dry humping. Thanks. Couldn't you at least just slip it in your mouth every once in a while?
That would be a very short relationship.
Prudy bitch. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I really like you. Can we have sex? No. Well, fuck you.
Yeah, but you can rub up against
That's what I want to be able to do. So
rub up against me for like...
Fuck you.
Rub up against a girl for like 15 minutes. What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. Rather than spunking in her vagina, you're spunking on it.
And I think we should move on to the next topic.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm torn about which one to do next, actually. Because I've got 2 Ring of Honor topics, basically the same thing, and then I've got 2 gaming topics. Yeah, let's split them in the middle. The Addiction has beaten Red Dragon. And trust me, it was a good match. So, yeah.
Sorry, I was distracted then. Nathan just started uncontrollably laughing.
Nathan, are you watching the show?
No, I don't think he is.
He can't be, surely.
No, I don't. What? No, I just heard you giggling.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. He's freaky, isn't he? He's a bit weird.
Yeah, kind of strange.
Yeah, people are going to have to experience Nath at some point.
Yeah,
it's going to have to happen.
It's all fine and good talking about him, but you actually have to meet him to understand.
You have to see him on the show. Yeah, no, I was saying the Addiction managed to beat Red Dragon for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship.
Yes, they did. I don't really keep up with Ring of Honor as much as I should. But yes, you did tell me that, and I think that's quite a good move putting the belts on the match. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I like Bob. I like Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. I think they're getting better. Certainly, I think they're definitely starting to come to their own in an entertainment scale. But yeah, I don't. I think as well. I think Chris Daniels is getting quite old now, so this will probably end up being his last run with the titles, and it's cool to see it happen.
Yeah, I think it was. What's the phrase? Not long over time. Is that the right phrase?
Long overdue.
Maybe not overdue, but
that's the point. Yeah, it's not quite overdue, is it? I think I know which one. I know what you're going for, though.
Yeah, it's not overdue, but it's not before time. Maybe probably the best way to put it. You know that they did it at the right time. You know, I think it's good that they've got the belts, but yeah, it will be his last run.
I'm sure it will be. I think he's something like 46. He's not a young man.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Yes, exactly. I think as well. Yeah, it was definitely a very, very, very competitive match. But it featured KZR in Interference, Knights of the Rising Dawn, I think it is what they're calling them. And it was Chris Sabin. They unmasked him, and it was Chris Sabin. And then Addiction and Chris Sabin beat down Red Dragon, which is interesting because it seems like they're going down a semi-TNA invasion angle at this moment in time, which...
yeah. Especially...
I'm not sure that's really the best way to go about things, but...
Not judging by the way TNA is doing currently, no.
No. Well, the thing is, though, a couple of things that TNA are doing are actually quite good as well, whilst we're on that topic. Because they've got what's their name again? The Rising versus the Beatdown Clan storyline going on. That's quite a good one. Drew Galloway trying to reclaim wrestling against MVP's Band of Thugs. That's good. It's a generic storyline for sure, but it's actually quite an interesting one. Yeah. Kurt Angle is still having some incredibly good matches, and he's currently the champion. But he is producing some very good matches with the likes of Bobby Lashley and Rude and Eric Young. All that's going quite nicely. What else have they got going on? Oh, Taryn Terrell's turned heel. She's now working with a really, really, really creepy duo called the Dollhouse. They are creepy. They're really creepy. You know, like really happy kids playing with dolls. It's that kind of creepy. It's really freaky. And plus, she's kind of doing what Paige does, only getting a bit more rated R with it. You know how Paige crawls up her opponents before headbutting the crap out of them? Taryn Terrell basically pins her opponents in that position, only goes for full body contact. It's kind of hot.
Edgy, I suppose.
Yeah, and then sort of sits on them crotch to crotch. It's pretty. It's about as rated R as they can get without actually just stripping naked and putting a strap on and actually having sex with each other in the ring. So that's happening, and it's Velvet Sky's back. Although why she decided to return, I don't know why she returned. I really don't. She wouldn't have been better off just touring the Indies. Actually, at least on the Indies, she's letting the pigeons loose. True, there is that. She was doing that on the Indies as well, but she was going up against Rosita a lot. So I don't know. Anyway, she's back. Good. I like Velvet Sky a lot.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. She is probably one of the most pretty girls in wrestling at the moment, if not the prettiest. Yeah, I feel they get close, I'd say, but yeah.
I would say probably, yeah, she is the prettiest.
And then what else have they got going on? Oh yeah, James Storm and his Revolution faction is currently going quite strong. Actually, PWA had the Revolution recently. I think it was April the 22nd. They had James Storm and Abyss in Plymouth.
Yeah, no, I did see about that actually. Yeah.
So that's currently happening. I think they're planning to split it up. Hardys are the tag champs in a really, really good Ultimate X match. If I'm not going to lie, it was a fucking good match. In fact, I must admit, I am enjoying the action on TNA a lot at the moment. I think they've got and plus, I'm kind of interested to see how the influence of, let's see if I can. I don't want to get his name wrong. But they hired the Smashing Pumpkins. I think it's frontman. That's his name, Billy Corgan.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't have to Google it in the end. Billy Corgan. They've signed him on to creative, I think.
Yeah, I saw that.
And but apparently he has experience with writing and creative stuff as well in the past. So, and apparently he's a fan of wrestling. And people are wondering if it's a publicity stunt. Well, Dixie Carter's basically assured people that it's not, and that she basically has conversations with him more than she does basically anybody else. So I don't know. I think there's some interesting stuff going on at that company at the moment. There's certainly, but it's interesting. I'm finding it quite funny that actually quite a few wrestling companies are raising their game all at the same time. Because you've got New Japan and Ring of Honor doing their World War sort of shows, where the two companies join forces for their ultimate shows. TNA is currently raising their game, I think, a bit. They're producing much better shows to watch. WWE, I think, is benefiting quite a fair bit from actually having the World Championship on TV. That's allowing them to do something more intricate with their storylines in between times that Brock Lesnar's not there. And that's interesting. That's good to watch. I think as well, Lucha Underground is pretty good if you ever get a chance to see that. It's interesting. I think the wrestling industry is starting to pick up again. But as to whether or not anybody can actually get close to the WWE, it remains to be seen. Because like I said, the WWE is starting to step its game up a little bit as well. They haven't dropped the ball with Adrian Neville yet, for instance, which normally they'd have fucked up the NXT talents quite badly by now.
Yeah, yet. That's the thing.
Yeah, the thing with Adrian Neville though is it's gonna be difficult to fuck him up because no matter what you do, he still does the red arrow and it's still gonna pop people.
Yeah, but not just the red arrow. His entire moveset is.
Oh yeah, as well.
I mean, he can alter and change things like almost at the drop of a hat as well. So he's going to be hard to keep down, I think.
Yeah. Plus, the Lucha Dragons are doing quite nicely. But they seem to have gone off TV for a little bit.
The Ascension have had sort of sporadic off and on again.
Yeah, the thing is, though, they did ruin the Ascension by basically changing their look. By basically painting them up and making them sort of like a cheap version of the Legion of Doom. Or the Road Warriors, I should say, the Road Warriors. You know, great.
True.
They should have just kept them like they were in NXT. Basically, come out to the ring, no face paint, but with chainmail. Because that's basically, it's a dominant tag team look, but it's a dominant tag team look which got them over at NXT, basically.
Yeah, no, that was good.
It's like how WCW did Chronic. They were dressed quite plain, but because they're two huge guys with a mean look, and they're a gimmick, it was the dominant tag team without being Legion of Doom knockoff. So you can basically argue that the Ascension had a bit of a raw deal when they changed their gimmick up.
Yeah, but then again, you never know. They might get some kind of push, maybe a surprise victory.
Yeah, there's still a chance for them. I think as well, the way that they've booked Neville and the Lucha Dragons, it's starting to make me wonder if they're actually paying attention to the fact that changing people's gimmicks as when they get to the main roster isn't a good idea because they got over for one certain thing in NXT.
Yeah.
And then they bring them onto the main roster because they're over in NXT and change it and ruin it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're starting to learn their lesson with that. You never know.
Maybe. If they do, I think it'll be a good boost for the company.
Yeah, I think if they actually bring in NXT talent and don't fuck it up, I mean, it's not difficult. They've already done the hard work creating the character in NXT. It's like Finn Balor. They've already done the hard work getting him over for his gimmick. Why start again? When you've already got a formula that works, but you just have to do it on the main roster. That's all. It shouldn't be that hard in reality.
No, because the NXT crowd, they're still a WWE crowd at the end of the day.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, if you can get over, well, I mean, that's the thing though, because it's now out on the network as well. You're getting the NXT. You're getting a lot of eyes on NXT, and a lot of people are, and that's why the NXT chants are breaking out onto Raw and SmackDown. I think because more people are watching it.
Yeah, which is why it'd be smart if they capitalise on that really and not change the gimmicks up.
I mean, as well, you basically you create a good character in development, and then you bring them onto the main roster, ready to rock and take the main roster by storm, basically.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that difficult concept, but WWE seems to have fucked up the Ascension. They initially, I think, doled down the impact of Paige. I mean, people were excited for Paige when she first came to the roster, and then for about 3 months afterwards, people were like, I think that's just because they took her down the road of, instead of being the anti-diva, she's basically a sort of a passionate crybaby for a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think they did ruin the Paige character slightly with that one.
They pulled it back, but they tried to go down a route of then copying AJ, which again was all right, but didn't really work that well. Anyway, I think we've exhausted. Let's move on. There are still chances to talk about wrestling later on. Now, would you like to talk about the release date that we've sort of discovered for Phantom Pain or Project Cars?
Probably Project Cars first, because I'll say you're the only one that's played it, so I just have to basically sit back and give an opinion.
So, Project Cars stands for Community Assisted Racing Sim, because what they did was they released build by build by build, sort of early access, but they only let a few people have early access to it. I think it was a couple of 100,000. Maybe, and they helped develop the game, spot bugs, you need to fix this and that, and you know, all this type of thing. And the game has now finally released. The full version of the game's out. I have bought it and I've been playing it. And what I can tell you, people, is this. It is this. My thoughts on Project Cars are twofold. There's two different games here in Project Cars. There's Project Cars with normal cars, and then there's Project Cars with 125cc shifter cars. One portion of the game is extreme. Most of the game is absolutely fantastic. Probably the best simulation I've played in a long time. And especially considering the fact that this is coming to the Xbox One and PS4, probably going to be the best simulation you have ever played on a console. I can't think of anything else on the top of my head which has jumped in my head as being, oh yeah, that was definitely better. This is it. However, there's a small problem, and that's the 125cc shifter carts, which are fucking awful. The most god-awful, useless pieces of garbage I have ever seen.
There we go. Am I back? I'm back.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I lost you for a second there. I was wondering what happened.
I think I jumped the cable.
Just in case you missed what I just said, I was basically stating that the go-karts in the game are the most awful pieces of shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yes, they. I never went into specifics for you, did I? So allow me to expand upon that for you. Okay. So for those of you who do not know, I'm a prolific go-karter in real life. Let me show you my go-karting credentials, if you will.
Looks like I'm carrying the show. Unfortunately, I don't like heavy lifting, so.
Okay. Got him. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Admittedly, I don't do a whole lot of actual races anymore. I do more like arrive and drive sessions now. But in the 8 races I did do, I managed to get myself one of these. That's a 3rd place right there. I managed to get myself, and I also managed to get myself 2 of these 2nd places. I also managed to pick myself up one of these, an actual race win. So let me just make it perfectly clear. I want to make it quite plain to you. I know my go-karts. I've also driven single-seater racing cars in real life. You know, I've got fair experience with go-karts on a number of tracks. And I can tell you that the go-karts in Project Cars handle nothing like go-karts. Absolutely nothing. So let's talk about that briefly, because it is the only downside to the game. So I'm gonna get the bad news out of the way first. So Project Cars. Let us say you're coming up to a corner, fairly tight corner in a go-kart. You put full steering lock on. Admittedly, I haven't got my steering wheel. I'm using the controller that you let me, Marcus, at the moment, because my steering wheel pedals are broken. But you whack on full lock. What happens in Project Cars? At 30 miles an hour, which isn't very fast in a go-kart, understeer. Chronic understeer. Just shitloads of... I actually... Do you know what happened to me once? I was driving the Dubai Autodrome track. I came over the bridge, turned in, and somehow it hadn't done it on any of the previous laps, but I understeered off the track going at 10 miles an hour. I was like, how? What are my wheels made of? Glass or rubber? I was like, this is bad. You shouldn't be understeering off the track at 10 miles an hour. You just shouldn't. No circumstances. It wasn't wet. It was dry. Bone dry because it's Dubai. So I completely understeered off the track. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's not even that tight a corner, really. It's kind of medium sharpness. So there's that. Now, in real life, go-karts are fantastically responsive machines. Even if you just drive a tourist go-kart, which we're going to be doing for my birthday, Marcus, and you're going to find out, go-karts are incredibly precise because unlike normal road cars, you don't get power steering and you don't get lots of mechanical links between the steering wheel and the actual wheels. It's a direct steering setup where if you turn the wheel, it has a direct one rod goes down, which links to the actual steering arm. So basically, in real life, in go-karts, all you actually need to get around any one corner is basically this. Coming up to a hairpin now, all I have to do in real life is this. I'm going around that corner. And I'm not even going to have to slow down all that much. That's literally all you need. That. In Project Cars, you do that, and you don't make the corner, basically. So there's
like a very messed up game mechanic, really.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Unless it was thrown an afterthought, maybe? Possibly.
It feels like it. It feels like, do you know what it feels like? It feels like they took their handling engine for the normal cars in the game and didn't really adapt it very well. Because the go-karts as well are also horribly affected by the bumps in that game, which, I mean, in real life, go-karts are quite affected by bumps because they don't have any actual suspension. I mean, all the suspension travel in a go-kart is in the actual tire. But on the game, it's just literally ridiculous. They catch and duck and dive on bumps horribly. In a way which go-karts don't in real life. In a go-kart in real life, you have to be careful over bumps, of course, because if you go and do any harsh acceleration or harsh braking on a bump in go-karts in real life, yeah, you will unsettle the go-kart. But not to the point where if you run over the red and whites, you're going to instantly get dragged into the very center of that corner. It happened to me once at St. Ethel, actually, where they have this corner which I found out from working there is called Master Corner. It used to have, to discourage people from cutting it, it was quite raised up. And this one time, I don't even know quite why, how I found myself doing it, but I turned in quite sharply because I was trying to take the corner flat out rather than give a minor lift through it. So I basically turned a little bit harsher, basically out of, to try and compensate for the extra speed. got myself on the very inside of the corner because I had quite a fair bit of steering lock on anyway. My front left actually caught the other inside of that corner, which there's a big drop like that on the other side of the corner, and I basically just snatched the inside wheel and went and got a bit sideways, but not so much that. But I didn't crash into anything. I just ended up sideways on the track. But in Project Cars, you don't even have to do it to that extent. You have to sort of just hit the red and whites a bit, and it just sort of goes beep. Which it's not 100% unrealistic, but they went a bit too far with it in Project Cars.
Yeah, it seems like it's a bit overemphasized.
Yeah, that's the word for it. The other thing with Project Cars and the go-karts, the worst point, I think, is the brakes. Now, in real life, if you hit the brakes on a go-kart, if you just stamp on them like a lunatic, like literally just go bang, yeah, you're going to lock your brakes up, you're going to spin in a straight line. You do that in any car, and you're going to spin in a straight line. If you just basically go whack, it's not going to work out well for you. But here's the thing. To get around that, in real life, what you do is you modulate your braking. You don't brake that harshly. You smoothly apply your brakes like that. You basically smoothly apply the brakes before you get to full braking, and then you release your brakes before you enter the corner. You can drive around that corner just fine. That's how it goes in real life. In Project Cars, forget it. I tried to brake. I mean, okay, so I have the controller here. I mean, right, so full braking is this, right? Bang, bang. So I tried doing this in Project Cars. I tried going like that. I try just modulate the throttle, modulate all the braking, do all my braking in a straight line, and then as soon as I turn in, the car just goes sideways instantly. Dead stop. I'm like, why? Why? I'm braking in a straight line to stop that from happening, and the thing's going fucking sideways. Stop it! I'm not looking at the brakes. I'm barely touching the brakes. How is it going sideways all the time? It's like I can't stop. What you have to do in Project Cars essentially is this. Don't use the brakes at all and hope that the car slows down enough based on engine braking. And even then, if you do that over a bump, sideways, crash, and the other AI will just crash into you because you're doing something completely lunatic. You're driving like an idiot.
Yeah, you're not really making a great case for me to want out and rush to buy this game, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you see, that's the thing. That's the go-karting section of this game. Then you drive the other cars in this game. And it's a battle. It's amazing. The rest of this game is amazing. The graphics in particular are beautiful, and they've even done this camera setup where it's a helmet cam. So if you were to play this game with the Oculus Rift on, and you had it on helmet cam, it would literally feel like you're in the car. It really would. It's perfect, spot on, and it also dulls the sound down to simulate the muffling effect that a helmet has on your hearing. Oh, it's good. And the graphics, like I say, are really nicely detailed. You can see the numbers on the dash, and you can see what all the buttons are, which sometimes you don't even get in Forza Motorsport. And plus the frame rates, this game runs so crisp. It's beautiful. It's just 60 frames per second, which normally it makes the games look so smooth that you almost lose all sensation of speed. Project Cars, that doesn't happen, because although it's 60 frames per second, what it does is it blurs the dashboard a little bit to stimulate the fact that you're focusing on the straight line, and it makes it feel so much faster. So you're getting really, and it can run, I think, up to 50 cars on a track whilst still maintaining that 60 frames per second. It's incredible. It really is. Yeah, the graphics, and what it also does is this, and this is brilliant as well. I mean, when we go karting, you will find yourself doing this. When you approach a corner, what happens instinctively? is when you're approaching the corner. If I'm going right, what will happen is this: I'll look into that corner and then turn into it, because naturally, where you look is where you end up going. In a go-kart, so in racing in general, and Project Cars simulates that by having it so that when you approach a corner, your camera shifts a little bit to the left so you can look into the corner. And it's a revelation. I'll tell you what, it makes driving Le Mans cars in that game so much easier than it is in Forza. Because in Forza, right, you get into these Le Mans prototype cars and they have sealed cabins. And the problem with that, and it's lovely. It's lovely. They're really fast cars. They're not difficult to drive, but the problem is some of the sealed cabins are extremely restrictive over what you can see because Forza doesn't have that wider range of field of view. And it's a fixed camera, so you can't see the side windows of your car that well. But in Project Cars, that doesn't happen because Project Cars simulates the look at the corner as you're going into it. You can see the edge of your car so much better. So those Le Mans prototype cars, you can much better accurately judge where the front of your car actually is. So it makes them really quite a pleasure to drive. It's so detailed in that respect, in just the natural instincts that a driver has of just focusing on the horizon, looking into the corner, helmet cam. It's very, very good. In that respect, very, very good. And like I say, the graphics are beautiful. I saw this video of Alton Park, and it was Project Cars versus real life with their test driver, because it was developed by real life racing drivers. And they had the driver who drives the back mono in real life, and he drove a lap on Project Cars. And if anything, the detail in Project Cars looks more so than it is in real life, because in real life, the tarmac is basically just grey. It's just grey and smooth. But in Project Cars, the road is really detailed with all the little grooves and rivets, which are obviously in the track, but the camera in real life just isn't sharp enough resolution to pick up. So that as well. And plus, when you see all those little dots all flying underneath your car, it looks all but that much faster. So yeah, graphics.
Well, no, I was just going to say, from what you've said, actually, it does sound like a pretty good game. Oh
yeah, trust me. If you don't ever drive the go-karts, and I should be specific, there's two different types of go-karts. You've got the 125cc shifter karts, and then you've also got 250cc superkarts. And the superkarts sort of handle much more like the other cars in the game, and are much better dealt with than the 125 shifters. The superkarts are much, much better to drive. So it's literally, if you just avoid the 125cc go-karts, you'll be fine. You'll love this game.
That sounds quite interesting. Then I might have to make a purchase.
Yeah, the only thing you have to do is, the only problem with the go-karts is you have to do it if you want to do the 0 to hero career mode, because you have to start in go-karts as a complete zero. That's the only issue, and that's the bit where I'm struggling with at the moment. The thing is, though, as well, handling. I've talked about how bad the handling on go-karts is, but I didn't talk to you about how good the handling is on everything else. So I haven't driven all the cars in the game, but I've driven like a very big selection. I think I've driven about 20 of them. And that ranges from single-seater racing cars to the Le Mans prototype cars to track cars to the McLaren P1. And everything handles so different. It's all different, and it's all unique, and it all feels exactly how you might expect it to feel. And I suspect the reason why that is the case is because when they were creating the handling engines, they talked to people who actually driven cars. It shows. Because in Forza, you can drive the Ariel Atom V8. It does nothing but drift. You can't not drift that car. But in Project Cars, you can. It understeers initially on cold tires and then becomes quite neutral. And then as the tires wear, starts oversteering, which is exactly what Top Gear says the car does in real life. So it's beautiful. And then you've got the McLaren P1 is a really forgiving car to drive. It's got plenty of grip, good brakes, and it's understeery, so you can really kind of push on in that car. However, it also has 920 odd brake horsepower, so it's really fucking fast. Make sure that does not catch you out, because it will. If you push that car, because I was driving it on Imola, and I come out of this really tight chicane, and I'm trying to think of what the actual name of the corners are. I think they're called the Degners, for anybody who actually knows racing. They're called the Degner corners. It's a tight 90-degree left-hander, short straight, another 90-degree left-hander. Well, before you get to that, you come down a hill, and then there's a right-hander, which, admittedly, you can take flat out in practically anything. In anything, it's basically a flat-out corner. However, if you do that in the McLaren P1, what will happen to you is you'll end up on the edge of the track, and whilst you made it through that corner, flat out, you are going to be fucked when it comes to the first of the Degners, because you're just going to fuck it up. You're just not going to slow down in enough time, and yeah, you'll screw it up. So that's, in some ways, the McLaren P1 can catch you out that way. But I do have a video on my YouTube channel of me actually driving a single-seater car at Silverstone on the Stowe circuit. Yeah, what I did was I tried to get in the car on the game, which is the closest thing to that car, which is a Formula Golf. Oh, it's so good. It was as if I was driving it again. It was fantastic. It's since I drove the track, though, they've included a load of chicanes down the back straight. So, but I remember distinctly there's a left-hander after that big long straight, which I was taking at around 60 odd miles an hour. But the one thing I remembered was if you find yourself on the inside of that corner, there's a big bump which can unsettle the car. And trust me, I had a little jittery moment in my car when I did that because it was quite damp. Well, it wasn't damp; it was just cold, really, really cold. And I had a moment where the car almost kicked into quite major oversteer because of that bump. I tried to take the same bit of track on the game. It has the same bump. The bump's there. And if you go wider, the bump's not there. It's exactly as I remember that track. And I was able to go through the corners at exactly the same speed as I was doing it in real life. It's really quite freaky just how realistic it actually is. And the other thing that it has going for it as well, Project Cars, is if you play Forza Motorsport 5, you will know just how limiting it is in terms of your tracks. There aren't that many locations on the game. Project Cars are fucking shitloads. I mean, it's got specialist go-kart tracks, which I recommend you avoid, because it obviously you have to drive the CC shifter kart, but it's got hundreds of tracks. And the thing is, with Project Cars and its profile on the rise, I can easily see more and more and more locations being convinced to add their track to that roster of tracks. So if this game has anything like the same sort of after-release sort of support as other games, I'm telling you, it is really, so long as you stay clear of those go-karts, which I've outlined as being atrocious, you will love this game because it is by far, as well, in terms of its handling engine as well, it simulates so many effects. It's really quite incredible. And it's what I like about it as well is in Forza you can drift a car quite easily, and in Forza what happens is the cars drift ridiculously easy. They just go sideways all the time because they haven't got much rear end grip. But in Project Cars, you have quite a fair bit of rear end grip. But if the car does let go, which I notice sometimes in other simulators, it's quite hard to actually catch and sustain that drift if you're not used to the game. Project Cars, nothing like that. It's just fine. You can just catch the drift. If you react to it quick enough, you'll be fine. And it's weird. I drove it on for the very first time, and it felt like I've been driving it for ages. It was on a track which I haven't driven on a PlayStation game since the PS2, which was Donington Park. So Haven't driven that track since the PS2 game, and I was there, and I was absolutely flying and on the pace immediately. It is. I know the go-kart section of this review wasn't good, but everything else is just heavenly.
Yeah, I'm just looking up some screenshots from it and stuff here.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. The other thing as well that I must admit, if you tune your handling setup, you can really change the way the car behaves quite nicely, and it has quite it's also very progressive as well, and it has very, very, very realistic fuel wear as well. So you can drive one car and it'll run out of fuel like insanely fast, but if you drive an economical car, it won't happen. And on Forza, I do wonder if that's the case, because sometimes on Forza I'm wondering, like, hang on a minute, I seem to be using the same amount of fuel no matter what car I drive. That doesn't happen on Project Cars. It is, and plus the sound. I never mentioned the sound. I used to think that the Forza Motorsport 3 sound was really, really good. But Project Cars has really nailed sounds. It sounds real. Because the thing is, the Formula Ford on that game has exactly the same engine as the car that I drove in real life. But the car I drove had a bit more aero than the Formula Fords. And it sounds, and it's got exactly the same power. It accelerates exactly the same speed. Oh, it's very, very, very good. Very good. And plus, if you hook it up and get the lap right, God, it's so rewarding, because you can just ride it out onto the bumps. You feel like a proper racing driver. It's excellent. Really is. It is genuinely the best driving game I've ever played. Genuinely, and I've played all the Formula One. I've played all the Formula One games apart from 2014. I've played nearly every Gran Turismo apart from 3. I've played all the Forzas since Forza 2. I play a lot of racing games. I've had a go on Assetto Corsa as well, which is a similar thing. This game is just the most complete by a long way, and it's also got it also tracks in real time the gap between you and the car behind you, and ahead of you, so you can see the gap, and it records it in real time as well. So if you brake for a corner and the other guy's on the middle of the straight, the gap will shrink and then grow again as you accelerate out of the corners he's braking for it. So it's that accurate. It shrinks and expands with the braking. So you do have to kind of pick out a little points of the lap where you can glance down and see if you're actually gaining or losing time.
So basically, it's the most realistic driving sim out there.
Certainly out of the ones I've played, yeah. I think there's some people who would say iRacing is better, or R Factor, which, I mean, maybe it is, but at the same time, those two games are PC online racers only, where Project Cars has gone to the trouble of developing an AI for those of you who don't want to play online. It's got a proper, fully integrated career mode. It's also available on consoles, so if you're on the console, I'm convinced this is the best you can get.
I think I might have to look at that when I get paid next.
Well, yeah, it certainly is worth a look. And the other thing that amazes me as well is the variety of cars. I mean, you've got hot hatchbacks, you've got the Ford Focus, you've got the Clio Cup car with the Renault Megane RS, you've got a Formula One car, not a licensed Formula One car, but a car based on I think it's 2010 season. So you've got a Formula One car in there, you've got the GP2 car, you've got the Formula 3000, so you've got all the junior formulas building up to Formula One, all the way down to go-karts. And then you've got the hardcore track day cars like Ariel Atoms, Caterans, back mono. You've got proper hypercars in the McLaren P1. You've got normal supercars in the Audi R8. You've got touring cars in there, Deutsche Touring Car Meisterschaft. You've got V8 supercars in there. You've got quite a fair few Le Mans prototype cars, and you've got junior prototype cars in there as well, like the Radical SR3 is all in there. And you've got historic racing cars in there, like Senna's Lotus 98T, which, by the way, is a fucking handful. That car is really hard to drive because, let me put it this way, you're talking mid to late 90s technology with 1,200 brake horsepower, near enough. So that is a very, on cold tires, on your outlap, it's a difficult car to drive.
I can imagine. That sounds pretty horrible.
Yeah, and as well, you don't have anti-lock brakes in that car, even if you select it as a driving aid, because that car didn't have it in real life. So even if you spec anti-lock brakes, it doesn't work. It's really funny. Just I consider it an achievement if I only spin once. I'm not Ayrton Senna, unfortunately, despite my trophies and credentials. But yeah, I
think if he was alive, I don't think he'd be sweating you right now.
No, if Ayrton Senna was alive and I said, "Sir, I challenge you, prepare to lose," he'd probably just go, "Are you high?" That's what you'd think. You'd be like, "Are you high or something? You really think you can beat me? Do you know who I am?"
He'd probably do the Cobra guy on you and just slap you on the head.
Yeah, it's like, down. No, I challenge him and be like, "Yeah, I can beat you," and he just look at me and just go, "That's cute." That's cute. You think you can beat me, Ayrton Senna? No. Yeah, it's very, very good, and that's everything I wanted to say. Really, just avoid the go-karts, and you'll be fine. And you'll love it.
There you go, an in-depth review.
It's about as high appraisal as I can give it. Yeah. So we could go back to wrestling.
Yes. What was the next wrestling topic?
It was a Ring of Honor are planning to do Jay Lethal versus Jay Briscoe. Or at least they've certainly teased it because which episode was it? I can't remember which one it was, but in April, towards the end of April, they did a fish tank segment with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, Red Dragon.
Yeah.
They had Jay Lethal, and he started basically talking about how he started running down Jay Briscoe, and he said, "Oh yeah, you can tell he's from a trailer park because that's where all accidents happen." And then Jay Briscoe, obviously, it goes, "Reach for the scars, boy, did it?" I was like, "Oh shit!" And then he just comes out, and he grabs the mic, and just goes, "Let me tell you something, Jay," and then he just basically beats the shit out of Lethal. So they're basically going. I think they're going down the road of Jay versus Jay. Television champion versus world heavyweight champion pretty soon. I'm looking forward to that.
An interesting one.
I am looking forward to that.
I can't remember the last time there was a TV champ versus the world heavyweight champ match. Don't think there ever has been.
What's interesting? This kind of feud is basically it's in a very, very real way what would have happened if they'd done it in ECW with Rob Van Dam and See, now this is the weird thing with ECW at that time. I can't actually remember who their world champion is at this point. Who is it? Who was?
Which point?
It was when RVD was the TV champ. Yeah.
The champ was
ECW champs. I want to see this. ECW champs.
Was it? Is it Mike Awesome?
It might have been. Years ECW heavyweight champ. What, really? ECW world heavyweight champ. Yeah, there it is. ECW world heavyweight champion. Shit.
I think it was Mike Awesome. It was either Mike Awesome or Shane Douglas, I think.
Okay, so it went from. I think wasn't when was RVD the TV champ again? It's right from 19. Yeah, it's 99 to early 2000, wasn't it? So he held it for ages.
Or it was late 98 until early 2000 or something like that, because he held it for a year and 11 months.
Yeah, let's go with that, because the ECW champions at that time would have been either Mike Awesome, Tanaka, Taz, who won it briefly when Mike Awesome went back to WCW, and then Tommy Dreamer. So I think at the time it would have been, if they'd actually done the match, it would have been Mike Awesome versus Rob Van Dam. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing a promo angle with those. It was before IVD hurt his leg. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Mike Awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Yeah, you remember who the TV champ was, but you don't remember who the world champ was. They kind of got a similar. They've kind of built the angle in Ring of Honor in a very similar way. They're kind of like saying, "Oh well, Jay Lethal's the Raw proper champ, where Jay Briscoe's just a paper world heavyweight champ," which, by the way, isn't really true. I mean, it's just the fact that Jay Briscoe's been the world champ for so long now; it's almost become irrelevant. It's kind of the way that Jay Lethal's been building this angle up. But I think they're actually going to do the champion versus champion angle. So this is basically, if you're watching ECW, this would have been Mike Awesome versus Rob Van Dam with both championships on the line. I think that's what they're going to do in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think that'll be the first time that anyone's ever done that as well. I'm not sure. There might be some world champ, but I can't remember off the top of my head anyone that's ever done that before.
No, I'm struggling to think as well. Oh, I can't wait for that match though.
It's either something like AWA or something like that, or Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They would have done something like that, but not on a grander scale, I should say.
Not on a scale the size of Ring of Honor, anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think
the match should be pretty interesting.
Good. I think it'd be good because I think Jay Lethal's a very good wrestler, and obviously Jay Briscoe is good enough that the WWE were apparently had them on the radar.
Yeah,
and that's the funny thing, though, wasn't it? They were talking about signing the Briscoes, and pretty much 2 weeks after that initial story leaks, the Briscoes re-signed a 2-year contract extension with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's pushing up to the world champ level as well now, Jay. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon.
Apparently, Global Force Wrestling are also looking to sign some Ring of Honor talent. Same with TNA. It looks like Ring of Honor is in line for a very big talent raid coming up soon.
Be interesting to see who they can keep hold of.
Well, yeah, I've seen. It's not. I don't think they're looking at guys like the Addiction and Styles. I think they're looking at guys like Briscoe. And obviously, they can't sign the Briscoes now.
Yeah.
Names that I've seen come up on the hit list are Michael Elgin. I've heard of Hanson and Rowe, War Machine. Red Dragon, up for grabs. ACH. Caprice Cole, no, Cedric Alexander, sorry, apparently rumored. And there was one other. That's it, Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So that's and Roderick Strong's apparently being looked at by New Japan. But then again, they kind of do cross promotion anyway. So and that's not so much of a big loss. I'm sure you'll still see Roderick Strong on Ring of Honor if he signs with New Japan.
But that's basically just a talent exchange or something, I imagine.
Probably. But that's basically their entire roster. Yeah,
it's a lot of people to lose, but then you have to wonder who they're bringing in. At all.
Very point. And the thing is, though, with Ring of Honor is they do tend to find good people. They do tend to find very good wrestlers.
Yeah. You see the guys that come out of there, though.
Yeah, exactly. The list is huge. But let's start it with Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, CM Punk, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Davey Richards, and Eddie Edwards, the American Wolves. I've already forgotten Austin Aries, Seth Rollins, Tyler Black. Yeah, he was Ring of Honor, wasn't he? Daniel Bryan,
Kenta,
yes, he went in Ring of Honor for a bit, didn't he?
Daniel Bryan, Ambrose, Moxley.
Yes, Ambrose, Moxley. Yeah.
Samoa Joe.
I think I mentioned Samoa Joe. Basically, every ex-champion they had.
Yeah.
pretty much.
No, there's been a lot of names that have come out of there.
Yeah, exactly. They breed good talent, and I think they're onto another one. I think with ACH and the Briscoes, and particularly Red Dragon as well. They're onto something with Red Dragon because those guys' promo skills are developing quite nicely now.
Could be a matter of time before they see them on Raw.
Yeah, maybe. I prefer it if Ring of Honor could, if somehow people could just give Ring of Honor the chance. I really hope people can just give Ring of Honor the time of day, and they can start drawing bigger crowds. Maybe. I think Ring of Honor as a company generally has its shit together as well. I think they'd be quite successful if they actually did get a bigger audience. Yeah,
on a bigger scale, I think they do very well.
I think so. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We're standing on the edge of the final topic. Phantom Pain. So, we have talked in great detail about this game, have we not?
Many times.
Many times. We have watched the hype videos many times. And the one thing which has always stuck with us, the one thing that has stuck with us is, when is the fucking game coming out so we can start playing it? We want to play it, damn it, really badly. Really, really, really want to play that game now. And we've been trying to figure out, when is it coming out? It's like, there's codes. It's like, Y2J, break the code. It's like, when? Please, Kojima, tell us when. Because we want to, I think both of us, as soon as we find out when, are just going to book a holiday off and then just start playing the game for a week. And I'm going to try and record as much footage as I can for my channel as well, so that will happen.
Yeah, I'll be putting a lot of gameplay vids on the internet. Yeah.
Finally, I've managed to narrow it down a bit. Well, assuming this is correct, which I assume it must be, otherwise they risk getting themselves into a fair bit of trouble with their customers. But I was shopping in Asda, came across the pre-order case for Phantom Pain, and it said on the tab, available September 2015. Pretty definitive. That's quite exact. September seems to be the month.
Yeah, basically just after the summer.
Yeah, and the reason why I think this is pretty reliable is because that's a pretty good time if you want to get ahead on Christmas sales. It also gives people plenty of time to upload the videos to YouTube, so that can also build more hype, more Christmas sales. So it makes sense from a marketing standpoint on their point of view. And the other thing that makes me think this is probably true is the fact that if Asda is wrong, and they went and said, oh yeah, it's available September. Yeah, of course it is. Why not? Yeah, let's just say it's available September. That's going to create quite a backlash on them. That's just risking their own reputation.
Yeah, unless somehow the game...
some information. They must have some information from Kojima so that they can advertise that.
Well,
they must have something to go on.
The only reason they could justify not releasing it in September is if there was some kind of development fault or something that would put the game back, which wouldn't be their fault, but advertising September seems to be pretty solid because we were speculating it would be a summertime game, and lo and behold, just after the summer, the game will be coming out. So,
yeah, I think it's yeah, I'm pretty sure I can look at this information and think to myself, yeah, this is pretty solid. This seems to be legit.
Yeah, so September is definitely the time the game's going to be released, and not a moment too soon.
Here's my pen out of ink. Boy, pen, fucker. There it is. Fuck it, right in the pussy. Stupid pen. There we go. Finally. Trying to scribble out the topics. Yeah, September seems pretty definitive. It seems pretty legit and official, basically.
Yeah, and official that we're probably going to be taking some time off work.
Yeah, I can guarantee people you will be seeing us both playing Phantom Pain, which means at this point you really need to subscribe to Marcus's channel. I mean, you only have a couple of months left
Before it booms, yeah. I mean, well, it's ironic. I've actually lost 2 subscribers now.
Mate, you lost 2?
Yeah, I've gone down to 39 as opposed to 41.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. It just seems weird. I upload more content and more people unsubscribe.
See, now that's kind of the interesting. Oh, hello! Somebody shared the WE London video.
Which
I wanted the second one.
Oh, okay.
This year's. Somebody shared that video. Yeah. See, now that's the weird thing, right? I actually had some interesting news for you about that because I was wondering where the subscribers were coming from again because it popped up on my analytics.
Yeah.
My channel it lost a few. When I got to 700, I dwindled back below 700, and then I went to 702, went back to 700. I'm in that sort of drop-off period. It's telling me a lot of it is just due to channel inactivity, which I think you naturally get. But overall, my channel's grown. And the thing is, though, it was not that long ago that we brought back Post Pro, was it? In the 2.0 edition.
Well,
it was in
January, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was late January, mid-February was when it was brought back. In the last 3 months, my channel's grown by nearly 100 people. It's pretty cool.
It's a pretty impressive.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you to everybody. I'm not going to go into a huge serenade thing. Ironically, the episodes where I say thank you to the fans for subscribing are the ones that seem to get unsubscribed. Ironically. But the interesting thing that I was going to point out is, UPW Greatest Hits, the Christmas special, that's actually gained us a subscriber. I was looking at the actual which videos were gaining subscribers, and that video popped up. It actually gained us a subscriber.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's a good step. That's a good step, and that's quite an old video now as well.
It is quite. Yeah, I mean, it was about close to 5 full months old.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. I've got 708 subscribers. I've grown another sub since I said what I just said.
That's a bonus. Keep them coming.
Oh yeah, I'm quite happy about that. I'm actually going to see when it was that we relaunched it. Pro 2.0. That's a run promo. That's the promo to say it's back. Yeah. So the HPA episode, the first one on the return, was the 3rd of February. It aired.
Oh, okay, so it's only been really about 3 months in.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good. So where is the? I actually want to see what the view count on Greatest Hits is. Oh, it's only 52, but it's going up.
I haven't really checked, to be honest.
I noticed the requests episode's getting higher. I noticed that
one's done quite well.
That one's done quite nicely now. I think that's on it. Must be on 60 now. Outtaken Mania. It's before Outtaken Mania, wasn't it? The requests.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was close to up here somewhere. Yeah, request heaven. Yeah, 62 with 5 likes. That's doing quite nicely. And plus, the other 2 episodes are doing quite nicely as well, actually. From Out of Nowhere. I gotta admit, now, I really like From Out of Nowhere.
It was a good episode.
It really was, wasn't it? The match was good, I think.
It wasn't great, but it was good.
Well, yeah, but when else have we tried to do a complete run through of a 5-minute match on the show?
True. Well, without serious complications, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. There are a few moments where we got lost, but if you don't know where we got lost, you probably wouldn't know where it happened.
Yeah, the editing was quite good on that.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of bits that I didn't edit it. I only edited one little bit. And that's there's only one moment of it that's edited. There's other bits where we sort of lose our trail of thought. And we're like, hang on a minute, what was it we're going to do next? And they were like, filler. But it looks like it was natural, like it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, well, like I say, they managed to cover up in the WWE, so.
True.
Oh,
I also like the RKOs. Oh.
Yeah, they were good RKOs.
Oh, that the one from the fist pounding the mat position, that was beautiful. Perfect sell, perfect leap into the air, perfectly tight. That was proper RKO.
Yeah, that was a good RKO.
I liked and I thought editing in the commentary lines from the out of nowhere vines was quite a good little step.
Yeah, that was quite good.
Yeah, Osborne 316 says, I just whooped your ass. Oh my god, RKO from out of nowhere!
Yeah, it was a very good episode, that one.
I like that one as well. And the pedigree on me. Gee, that's a good one.
Yeah, the one on me kind of hurt.
Yeah, I worked out what you did. You tucked your head in.
Yeah, I did.
So you ended up spiking the top of your head rather than basically landing flat on your face.
Yeah, I sold it very old school style.
Yeah, you did. You kind of dived into it. Which is fine. It looks all right, but it looks like it really hurt when you catch the detail.
That one was quite painful.
Yeah, I must admit, I think the episode before that as well was quite a good one.
Yeah,
but I must admit, right at this very point in time, I'm starting to want to wee.
Yeah, it's starting to get quite late as well. So
it is. It's nearly 11 o'clock, so I think we hit the mission statement of making a longer episode after last week's disappointing episode has been fulfilled.
Yeah, I don't know how long this one was, about 2.5 hours-ish.
Yeah, it's just over that point. It's close to 2:40, I think it is.
Blimey. No, I've got a lot of content in there.
Yeah, that's a lot of topics. Oh, well, I think it's time for an outro.
Well, it's your show, so I'm going to let you do it.
Oh, cheers, thank you. Yeah, as you can see, we're both stretching, and we're that's a long pull again. Plus, we were both up really early, so yeah.
I'm kind of tired and hungry.
Same here, and I'm also very much in need of a toilet break. So, yes, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Shona Knight for calling me Chubby.
Brilliant.
That was lovely. Thank you very much. Love the fans. Gotta love the fans. It's the fan interaction that makes the show quite funny. I think the moments where we can just react to you guys being you guys is quite as funny. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you managed to stick with us for the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes, congratulations. You've done a cool thing there. But anyway, I'll be editing all the I'm still getting around to editing all the annotation, all the descriptions for these things, so that it has time frames for all the topics. So if you don't want to see one topic, or you're like, oh, the fucking twats are talking about Metal Gear Solid again, skip it. You can. So I'll be continuing that. But for now, yes, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. I am the Chun. You aren't.